Okay, perfect. So I'm done with all calls or anything. I think we are good. Hi, everyone. I'm Aaron. I work as a data engineer somewhere in an organization in Nairobi. I also help plan Lux together with DC and other 9 trainers that makes the way learning. We also have a team that we call technical support and a group of alumni. There was something that I tweeted earlier today and which impressed me. When I came from work today, I passed by Lux, and something exciting that I saw, I met like many people practicing for one interview and they were helping someone. So that's the spirit that we encourage. The point where once you join, you don't feel bad encouraging others or supporting them. Whatever it takes to get that back, your turn will come. So yeah, that is always the policy. Otherwise, I'm glad we are like 95 of us and we are eager to learn from, I can call them industry experts. One of them is Justus Moimi. I remember Justus for a while. We have been in touch because Ricome joined Data Science East Africa as a community a while back. We also have Denzel. Denzel joined us last year. He now works at, he's a mechanical engineer or civil engineer. I'm not sure, but it's one of them. But after graduating, he recently got a job and he works as a data engineer at Stanbic Bank. Sijui kama kuna colleagues wake hapa, but yeah, he works there. He was in the second cohort. Perfect. So we are here trying to have a call where you can learn from the best. Basically, I can say from people in the industry what they did to get where they are. When I was texting Mimi today, I was telling him, I just need a natural talk with you where you share with others your experience. Actually, sijam brief. I just want him to share his experience from where he started writing his first Python or SQL code, how he was introduced in tech, the first job, how he navigated into joining AWS, his experience at AWS, what it takes to be a cloud support engineer, data analytics at AWS. If he's comfortable, he can also give you a range of salary so that you can know what to expect when you're joining those opportunities. And also he can tell you how much he was earning before he got there, so that also you can know the expectations when you're going there. He works as a, he was at Equity, I guess, before joining AWS, but you clarify that. We lost touch after memaliza Data Science East Africa kitambo a while ago. Yeah, that is the first speaker. Also, something I wanted to notice, like we have a conference next week. Next week we have a conference, Data East, Data Africa. If you open that link, more information. If you want a cheaper ticket, for 999. 0796 44 82 32. That is the WhatsApp number. WhatsApp to this number 0796 44 82 32. WhatsApp that number so that you can get the student ticket. It goes for 999. Ticket for t-shirt for student also goes for 500, but for the rest is later date, and the ticket goes for 1450 without a t-shirt, or 1750 with a t-shirt for the rest. What to expect? Expect talks from different people. One of them is, let me give the ones that I'm sure. Chris will be giving the keynote. We also have a panel of 5 engineers. After the panel, we also have a workshop. A workshop will be led by Victor Kituko. Most probably might be in this call. Victor is also a data engineer and a AI engineer. He specializes in automation. And something else I can mention is we'll be competing to win ZD Challenge and come with your tokens. Okay, that is it. After that, I also want to clarify this. We'll also have Ezra. Ezra was one of our students last year. He now works for 2 organizations in Nairobi as a data analyst, the other one as a data scientist. The good story you get from Ezra is he came all the way with the border from Bomet to look for security guard. opportunity, then you ended up being a data scientist. That's interesting, right? So you'll be hearing from his mouth. I've been telling you about this story for long. So yeah, get your ticket. We are using Sarit Center. The conference room is Muima. So once you get there, you just go and you'll be redirected to the office. You get an email of everything that you need to know. Okay, good. That's it. Let's go to the next part. And the next part is where you have today's speaker. Please note that don't get crash, get tickets, and I'll repeat, get ticket for code 4, code 5, code 6. You're graduating in June, I think the second weekend of June. And for those who are not graduating, doesn't mean, please note this, I was telling some people, you'll have a trainer. Basically, it doesn't have to be the one that was training you, but you'll have someone in the industry who will take you through several projects. Okay, yeah, several projects, and you do like 5 to 6 projects with him, then you'll be like good to go. For those who are wishing to graduate in October, it's okay. It's also allowed. So yep. That's it. I will introduce Murimi. You'll give his story. You'll ask the questions. All the questions can be redirected here. If you don't have a question for him, or you feel shy to ask the question here, please redirect to the same number. Currently, I'm the one holding the number. So any question that comes through the number, I'll be able to see it. I'm wishing you all the best as you learn, and I hope you learn a lot from him. Mulemi, nimekuintroduce sana, sijiintroduce sana, utuambie a little about yourself. While you're doing this, please note that we have people from different countries. So mnasema siri ni ndevu. From different countries. Yeah, some are in South Africa, others are in Nigeria. So use English if possible. Kikambo hapana, huyo hapana. Just use English. Kiswahili I'm saying this because I'm late. Some people doesn't understand Kiswahili, not everyone. So just take note of that as you get certain for the best and take over. Umeambiwa pia French usitumie.
Okay. Okay. So I hope, team, you are well. Thank you first, Lux Tech Academy, for this invite. It's actually a pleasure to be here, addressing or else speaking to over 100 tech experts. It's actually a pleasure for me. I'm happy, and thank you for the invitation. Yeah, so I'm going straight to introduction. My name is Justus Muimi. I'm currently working at Amazon AWS as a cloud support engineer in data and analytics. I've known Aaron, or I call him Greyheart. I think that's how I've saved him on the phone. Back in 20, I knew him back in 2021. Actually, it's 5 years now. When he started Data Science East Africa, it was a small thing. Actually, I have a certificate from Data Science East Africa. So that is when it was starting, and now it has grown to a huge, big academy, which is transforming talent and building great engineers. Yeah, so I've mentioned that I'm currently working at Amazon. Previously, I was working as business intelligence developer at Cooperative Bank. That is back in 2023 up to 2024. I stayed there for like 1 year and 6 months. I've been here for close to 2 years now. Before moving to Cooperative Bank as BI developer, I was at Equity Bank, where I worked as in different capacities, but the last one was a BI developer, data engineering. Before then, I was working as technical support. I also worked in digital banking, assisting customers, NJZ. And long time ago, I worked as a teller in branches in Matue, Kitui, and another branch in town, I think called Kawa House. So yeah, long story. But I didn't start in tech. I went to University of Nairobi, did a course called Microprocessor Technology and Instrumentation. I majored in industrial electronics. I tried to program Arduino and the hardware, but then I realized maybe that's not where the money is. The money is on the other side of the world, probably in software and data. And that is how I transitioned to analytics. Yeah, first things first, that's all about me. I don't know if Lux, Aaron, you would like me to proceed, or else how would you like it to be? That's me.
Okay, you can proceed. Just hebu nikuchomea kidogo. If I was interviewing you, ningesema nasikia uoga kwa umbali. There is some tension. Just relax. It's not an interview. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Just relax.
Yeah. I have a problem of speaking fast, so I try to go slowly. So if you feel like I'm rushing, just tell me, oh man, you are moving fast. Cool.
Okay.
So maybe you would like to know how I landed to Amazon, but before I come to how I came to Amazon, I would like first to go back and tell you how I got to be in data generally. And my career in data started at Equity Bank. Probably there is someone here from Equity Bank in any department, but that's not an issue. So I started my analytics journey during the COVID time. So by the COVID came, I was in technical support. So what happened is that we went home because of the jobs were over and we could not be accommodated to work further. So that is when I started to do freelancing. So freelancing helped me much to master, to come into analytics. I learned Python programming, actually the whole of 2021, from 2020 October up to 2020, up to the whole of 2021. Python, SQL, and Apache Spark kept me in Nairobi. So by the time COVID was I was not good in I was not proficient in Python, but I had to learn it. So because I had already now moved to the analytics side, okay, I was interested in going to the analytics because I was exploring either analytics or cybersecurity, but analytics was easier for me, and I was more passionate about it. So I started to learn Python for data analytics, stuff to do like pandas, then moved to machine learning. I've done a lot of projects in data, specifically in using Spark, just doing some general tasks on Python, data analysis, let me say that, visualization and all that. And then I've done a couple of projects in big data using Spark, because Spark is a distributed processing system, so it's very, very, very handy for in data space. But you may not need to learn it. But if you are exploring and if you are new to the career, you will definitely explore these technologies, because the more you know, or the amount of knowledge you have, the more chances you have for getting a job or landing a job. So I mastered Python, I mastered Spark, I mastered SQL, that is SQL, and then I put in the machine learning in it. Actually, I was also using R so much. R is the programming language. I know the guys who come from mathematics and statistics definitely have understanding of R. Actually, I did a lot of R before I learned Python, but later on I found R has got a huge or else a steep learning curve. So I concentrated with Python. Yeah, so coming 2022, that is when I got a job actually at Equity Bank. They told me, you look good in, I went for the interview. They said, you are good in analytics, so you can come this side. Actually, my mentor was the one who interviewed me. We work with him at Amazon. He held my hand. And they also recommended me when they were hiring. So he said, I know a guy who we can maybe we interview them. So I got the invite and I went for the interview and I nailed it. Yeah, let me put a pause there to know if I'm on the right track or there is something that you may need to me to explain? I can see guys are saying things are okay. I don't think if I'll read the charts, but let me have a look there.
So go and malize the story, then you go back to questions.
Okay. So here, all this time I'm talking about what propelled me into the analytics. So now I got into analytics at Equity Bank. Now that is where I learned that how we do things out, or else when you are working on your personal projects, definitely not how it works in corporate environment. The corporates they find a way of doing things, and you will realize that it's not always delivering an answer which matters, but how efficient you deliver it. Before let me pause hold on that. Let me go to a site called Codility. That is where I learned, that's where I sharpened my skills in programming, especially Python. When I'm bored, I want to just remind myself about the programming and SQL. So when you go to Codility or Lead Code, you will realize that when they are measuring if your response, it is not always the correctness of the answer, but also the efficiency, how much CPU you will use to run a code. That is what I'm saying. When you go to the corporate environment or to any other environment, you realize that it's not always giving an answer, but rather how efficiently you are doing it. Before, I could just write some SQL stuff, or I write some Python programs just to automate some tasks here and there. But then you realize the industry standards, you may need to anonymize if they are password, if you need to anonymize some data, if you're dealing with huge volumes of data, and a bank like Equity and those tier one bank have lots of data produced. So you need to be efficient. You need to use mechanisms and tools which handle data efficiently. So that is where I learned the industry standards. Building pipelines, I just learned it's not a matter of moving data from point A to point B. There are checks like integrity, just ensuring that the data is consistent. Yeah, and also now that's where you realize there are tools, the industry tools which are used by those corporate companies, stuff like Oracle Integrator. I know some other institutions use Informatica, some other institutions may use Talent, others may use Microsoft. I don't know, I have never used it, but I know you have Microsoft something. But at the end of the day, you realize that it's not the tool which matters here. Even if you use which kind of ETL tool, at the back of it, it's backed by SQL, or else it's powered by the database engine and the technology which is general everywhere. Before I move to another point, some people underestimate the power of SQL, but when you come to the industries, when you realize that everything you see, everything you hear, the data engineers are doing, most of the work that they do is writing SQL queries, or else procedures and all that. That's now into still at Equity Bank. So when I was at Equity Bank, I will say this publicly. I think my salary was around 125. Yes, to be precise, 125,000. Yeah, Equity pays well, and sometimes it does not pay well, especially if you are ingrown like me. I had joined Equity Bank back then when I was joining campus. So you see, when you are homegrown, you don't dictate your salary. Your salary is dictated. So I was paid some little money, but then I felt like it was a lot at that time. So after I spent 6 months in Equity Bank analytics, I did some big projects which I felt they were big. I did a huge what do you call it, project at Tanzania for integrating the Bank of Tanzania needed to be connected with the bank so that they have real-time access of the bank instead of the data to being provisioned directly to them. So that's one of the projects I undertook. Back at Equity Bank, I did another cool project which was dealing with the pay, where you normally pay with 247. A lot of work happens under the hood. So those are some of the projects which propelled me, or I used them to campaign for the interview and to prove that for sure I could deliver if given the opportunity, and for sure I got it. So I went to Cooperative Bank. So when I went to Cooperative Bank, I realized that the culture was a little different from how from how Equity was. It was not bad, but it was just different. Just found that the things are quite slowly paced, and they go in a certain way, different to what I was used to Equity. But what I learned with Cooperative Bank, there is heavy usage of SQL. You could not thrive in Cooperative Bank if you cannot write advanced SQL queries like stored procedures, triggers, very complex stuff. So at Cooperative Bank is where I find great, I advance my SQL skills, specifically on Oracle. Still back on Cooperative Bank, I participated in one of the big projects migrating the core banking system from those hard banking systems to Finacle, what we call Finacle 10. Now it's used at Equity Bank. I know Cooperative Bank use it. I don't know whether it's used in what other banks use it. So I also participated in that to migrate the data for both Kenya and Tanzania and South Sudan subsidiaries. Again, that now added me points when I was going for interview at Amazon. And now here I am. Now I'll tell you what it took and all what it takes to be here. So Amazon or AWS handles things quite differently from how other industries handle and how they conduct their interviews. You know, when you go for a normal interview in other companies, you'll expect to find a board, or else it's like a board and you are going there to be summoned. You may find a panel of over 10 people, and then they will speak in turns. So that is different from how AWS conducts its interview. At Amazon, you'll do like 4 or 5 interviews, each lasting 1 hour. And each interview will have one-on-one with an engineer or a manager. And the interview will not more of interrogative session, but rather as a discussion like the one that we are having. It's a matter of we discuss, we measure on what you know, and what they measure it on what you know. But what you know does not mean you'll get the job. What you know must be what they want. You see, it's not an idea where you go, you are taught just be confident. You see, when you are confident on an interview and you don't know anything, you're just saying wrong things confidently. So you are done on the go. So at Amazon, you need to know things, you need to know what you're saying, and also you need to be confident at the same time. But yeah, so I applied. I tried to apply for a job in Amazon back in 2020. I was desperate to get a job, so I applied in South Africa for a network engineer. So I did the test online, and I failed on the go. So I started seeing my friends get job at Amazon. So I said, oh, one day I may land there. I didn't know if it was true, but later it happened. So at Amazon, there are one critical things, especially in support roles, that is looked in, especially on networking and operating system. You may wonder why you would need those skills, yet you are in analytics. But the idea is, if you understand the core, what do you call it, the technical building blocks, you'll be easy to maneuver. All these data services runs on some sort of hardware or sort of infrastructure, the platform, and that platform is networked, and that platform must have some operating system. So if you do not understand those stuff, it will be difficult for you to come here, even if you know analytics, even if you are very good in programming, you may not get beyond that, because those are basic requirements. Stuff like when we ask you about the CDR, CIDR, the subnet, the private and public IPs, those are the things that guys in analytics, we are always afraid we don't like to talk about them. When you hear about OpenTSpot, these services communicate on this port, those are the kind of things that you first need to know them before now understanding the other bits. Next, after you master the operating system and networking, the other thing now is the core skills. If you are coming to analytics, here SQL, you need to master it. You don't need to write those advanced procedures, but you need to write efficient queries. You may need to understand stuff like inner joins. You need to do self joins. But you see, the issue whenever you are given a problem, it will not be directly perform an inner join. You'll just be given a problem where you will need to perform the self join, or you need to decide whether you use a left join or right join or an inner join or a full outer join or a Cartesian join or the kind of join that you need. And this comes after you do so many practice. And I also recommend you go to LeetCode, go to Codility, and practice from there. We have other platforms where you can practice. There are other stuff where they normally test, and also that's what is tested in most industries, stuff to like window functions. I think that is the most advanced query SQL issue that you can get about window functions, rank, dense rank, row number, and all that. So they are not difficult, but you need to practice so that you can perfect. Up to that point, I don't know what I could have left, but I would just need to give you to take the microphone back to one of you so that I can remember anything else, or as you can pose a question to me as I remember. Yep, back to you.
Yeah, thank you. Let me take questions from the before you take from the chat. Let's look if there is someone with a question. Anyone want to address the question over the mic? Raise your hand, please. Then I'll give you the chance in order which you raise your hand so that we can be orderly. Anyone with a question?
Please raise the questions verbally. I need to hear you guys.
Brian Monene. Let's hear what Brian is asking. Brian, how are you?
Hi, Harun. Hi, Justice.
Hi.
Yeah, so my name is Brian. I'm a cohort 7 student studying data science and analytics. So thank you so much for the talk. I wanted to ask actually about interview. I don't know why I hear my interview.
Just mute yourself and then anyone else is unmuted.
Okay. No worries. So just as I wanted to ask about interviews.
Bruce,
mute yourself, please.
Okay, my name is Bruce. I have practiced kidogo within the industry, and my question is about privacy.
Hey Bruce, kulikuwa nauliza swali mbele yako.
Okay.
I wanted you to mute yourself. Kwani Friday imeanza mapema aje wasi. Let's start with the person who was asking the question before you. Sorry about that. Who was it? I even forgot.
It's me. It's Brian.
Brian, yes. Go on.
So just as I wanted to ask about interviews, have you find yourself in a situation whereby perhaps you're asked a technical aspect that you're not familiar with? And in that case, because sometimes, you might maybe not know everything that is on the plate or is being asked, how have you approached those kind of situations?
Thank you, Brian, and that's a good question. Indeed, as tech experts, we tend to tell where we did well, but we rarely say where things nailed us. We always go to interviews and things got out of hand. You know that very well that you didn't get it. but one day you will get it right and you'll get a job. Okay, so I will address your question in two phases. First, I will start with how normal industries conduct their interviews versus how AWS does it. I have attended several interviews, and you go to the interview, you compare what you had, what you are being interviewed for. It is what you had applied for. But when it comes to the questions, or when you go to the interview, now you start feeling the questions are maybe tough, or you don't know them, or they are not related. So let me talk about when you don't know the questions there. It will be definitely that in most cases you will come across questions which you don't know, and especially for these panel-like interviews, because you will have different people from different teams. You may have a guy from business, completely non-technical, is there asking you brain-teasing questions, which are not necessary. But let me come to your question. So whenever you are asked a question that you don't know in an interview, yeah, I've come across many of them. You pass the question, you say you don't know, or else you are not sure. You have two opportunities. If you have an idea but you're not sure, you can ask to verbal, or else you set expectation that you are not sure, but gonna try. If you get it wrong, you already said, I didn't know. But if you completely don't know, instead of saying things that don't work, then you pass the question, and maybe you can say that's a point of learning. You'll go and research, and what that does is it shows that you have eagerness to learn. So you will always never get every question right. You will always get difficult questions that you will not know how to answer. But you need to turn things around and show that you need to take the positive way to show that despite being difficult, you're gonna go research and you will improve. You learn and know how to answer it, and then you get back and ask them to answer you what it was. So sometimes I've ever asked somebody and then they said, no, that was an interview question, we don't answer. And then I wondered, why was you asking it? Maybe you also don't know it. Now let me bring you to how AWS does the interviews. It's like you have everything. You have the bunch of all the information you will be asked. They will tell you, this is what we'll be asking you. Learn about networking. They go to details. They tell you about HTTPS, what do we call it? Converting the IP address to a domain name to an IP address. You need to understand those things, and that is definitely what they will ask. DNS resolution. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, they will ask you about how the process goes in. They don't bombard you with things that they set expectations before, not before on the interview day, but early enough. So you will not hear them ask questions which are not related to what you are interviewing. And let me be frank, when I was interviewed for the role, honestly, I didn't get any question which I could not answer. It's only that some questions were so difficult. I was not completely prepared for all questions, for all technologies, that I could not answer them, but I had an idea. So there were some very advanced questions regarding sometimes like Windows and very advanced, which I had the knowledge, but I didn't dive deep to understand them. But of course, I said I don't know, but I gave some idea, little knowledge on what I know, and I finally got the job. So what I'm saying is that don't just be blank, okay? But ensure that all the what do you call it? The issues related to what you are being interviewed for, or what was outlined on the job description, you have prepared for almost every item mentioned on the job description. And also everything that is written on your CV, just know that you know it, because you will be asked, we know in your CV you have said you have done this and this, and then you are also wondering like them, you don't know whether you wrote it, and you are there, so things get out of hand, and that becomes terrible. Yeah, so that's all. Brian, I believe I've answered you. Let me know if you need more information.
No, that's good. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Thank you, Brian. Now, Bruce, you can go on.
Okay, hi, Justus. Now, my question is basically around data privacy. Kindly talk to us about that. What instances have you come across conversations about data privacy when, for example, you were in Kenya and within the banking sector? How did that determine how, for example, the DPA 2019? How did it? What was its effect to your operations as a data engineer, as a data analyst, and to generally the industry in general in Kenya? I'm saying this because I've been involved in a project that involves Parliament, and this was a question about public participation. Okay, and within that project involves a lot of collecting personal details. Now we have a challenge. Most of these providers, our cloud providers, and those who provide the services that we consume, are not based in Kenya. For example, you'd find Microsoft Asia is based in South Africa. So then I haven't come across one in Kenya. So the question comes, especially on cross-border data operations. How do you handle that? Have you come across that, and what were the challenges around it, and how do you handle it?
Yeah, thank you, Bruce. That's a great question. When it comes to data protection and privacy, it's an important aspect in data engineering, and actually in every perspective. At Amazon, we normally say data security in general, including data privacy, it's priority number 0, not actually priority number 1. So addressing your question about, you have mentioned about the cloud providers where data does not, where their data centers don't reside in the country. That's about the data residency. So it means that whenever you deploy your application or your system, your data resides in another country. We have, for example, in Amazon, there are companies whereby their data does not, countries whereby their data must reside within their countries. For example, China, countries like US, their data must always reside within their country, and that by laws. So you will find that these cloud providers, they may not have control, because if they don't have a data center in Kenya, you don't have any option. You'd rather use your on-prem data centers, but in most cases, you find that what I've realized, for example, let me use banking industry, for example, because it's one of the major players in Kenya, and it's one of the advanced industry which can use some of these services. You find that they do not take their entire banking, the core banking system into the cloud. What they do, they take the processing into the cloud, but the data resides on-prem. Okay, what that means is, you see, like the mobile banking app that you use, it will definitely work on the cloud. It works on the cloud. It resides there. When you connect it, the operation or else the processing, the what do you call it? The processing is on the cloud, but the actual financial transaction it just sends the information to the core banking system, and that's where everything is done. That's why you normally hear companies say our application is down, but you can withdraw the cash over the counter, or you can use ATM. I don't know whether I'm on the right track, but I will try to answer your question. Let me be frank. I started to hear myself again.
It's Bruce.
Okay. So I was saying that I'm not sure about the.
Bruce, please mute yourself. Please, Bruce, mute yourself.
Yeah, thank you. I was saying that I'm not sure about the Data Privacy Act on 2019. I don't know its implications. I've I've not much done a lot of data protection and I've exercised this, but I've not been into detail, so I don't know what it much entails. But like the personal identifiable information, from where I sit and from where I've been before, we always ensure that data is masked, and if not, we always avoid touching the customer data. For example, if I'm asking a customer something, if I'm sending an email to a customer, I'll always tell them, please do not provide this kind of information. Ensure there is no confidential information. Ensure there is no the personal identifiable information shared. I don't know if that's applicable in most of the places, but essentially that's what I have for that question. I don't know much about the Data Protection Act 2019, what it says, but I believe I will live within the limits of data protection. Yeah. Cool. Arun, can proceed?
Okay, Denzel is here, but let's go on with questions. I can see the second person is Brenda. Brenda, please unmute and ask your question.
Hi, Justice. So my question is, someone who is wanting to be a BI developer, what would you advise as very core skills? Like someone needs to perfect those skills to be a really good BI developer.
Okay, thank you, Brenda. That's a good question. So what you realize is that an entry-level BI developer and a data analyst, they are quite much interrelated. It's only that you'll find that the BI developer is mostly positioned on the IT side or else on the data analytics side and has more privileges. But they have not yet mastered or else they have not. They are using some bigger tools like the ETL tools, like the visualization tools. Coming to your question, which skills I needed for someone to come into BI developer? First things first is SQL. There is no negotiation about this. SQL is crucial. And when I talk about SQL, it's the simple SQL that you know, that I've mentioned earlier, which you can master it on Codility and the lead code. You can comfortably hack most of the SQL interviews when you have exercised there. So SQL is critical. Another tool which will be needed is Python. But now those two tools are very important. But to see how the industry is tuned, it tries to look for who is best. So you'll find that you are bringing on the table only Python, the pandas itself, and the SQL. But somebody else is bringing in machine learning, is bringing in what we call it, is big data. They have Spark, they have used Hadoop. They are doing some software development on the other side. They can write APIs. So they have done, they know some deep learning technologies. They also do visualization using Power BI, and also others are using which other tool? Name it. So you see, the core key skills here are for an entry-level BI developer would be SQL and another programming language and probably a visualization tool. But due to competitiveness, then you need to just increase your chances of survival, and that is where you need to add other skills. Like you may need to learn some machine learning, because even if you are going for a BI developer, you may find that there is a data scientist on the call. There is someone who does the visualization. There is somebody who builds data pipelines. So they will definitely ask some tough questions, or like people will ask what they know. If someone is from data science, they will ask more about stuff to do with the machine learning. If you have ever used any machine learning, if you have done or written and deployed any model, and you see the people, the all institution would like somebody who is like, who has well of knowledge or information, and that is what they will go for. So the key skills here are SQL and especially SQL, and then Python or another programming language like Java. But for you to increase the chances of survival, you need to just know a lot. I don't mean you need to dive deep, you need to be that guru and expert in it, but just know. If you are asked about, if you need to know if this problem needs to a classification or clustering, you need to know which to use. But you may not need to write a code itself. You just to be all round. That's how you increase your chances of getting a job. And actually, you can even have some networking perspective in it, because if you are new to the tech, you don't need to specialize early enough. You need to be general. Brenda, let me know if I've answered your question or you need me to ask something.
Yes, you've answered my question. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you.
Who is next? As we said that, I will turn on the camera so that I can set in Denzel. Mtaniambia venye inatokea. I can see. Okay, I can see a commutant kinda. Anyway, I will set up the camera as he answers the other question from Dennis. Dennis Gitao, do you have a question?
Hi, yes, I have a question. Thank you. So hi, Justus. I wanted to ask, other than the technical aspect, what other aspect will you say was important in helping you land the AWS role?
Dennis, that's an excellent question. I actually forgot to mention the non-technical proficiencies that you need to put across. Yeah, that's really a good question. So, you see, most of the guys in this call, or most of us, or all of us, are very good. You see, we are good. If we are given a problem to solve, we can solve it. If we ask questions to write, we can write. If we ask a question, we can answer. But the issue is, what will make you stand out, or else how will you show that you are different from the rest, and that you can do you actually the best out of those who you are being interviewed together with. And that brings me to now the non-technical skills, which now are used to move to communicate the technical skills that you have. And one is communication, how you put across your thoughts, how you bundle your thoughts together, how you put everything. You need to ensure that you can communicate what you know. For example, and I would recommend, guys, you start practicing something used at Amazon and other big firms like Microsoft and Google, called the STAR method. What STAR method does is, STAR means the one is situation, the second one is the T means task, A means action, and R means results. So what we mean by STAR, especially at Amazon, you need to know how to answer questions using that answering model first. For example, assume you have been asked a question like, tell me a time when you dealt with a difficult customer. You see, now this is not a technical question, but you can turn it technical if you need. It's not a technical question, so you need to set clearly that this was a difficult situation. So that this was a difficult customer, and you set the situation here. You say this customer at this issue for this time, they were unhappy. They had gone to social media. They had said this and that, and then what did you do? So the T for this is task. You need to communicate what was to be done here. And then the other one, you need to clearly show what you did, and that is the action. And finally, you need to state the results. Continuing on the question, when I was introducing myself, you heard me mention some of the projects which I did at Equity Bank. So you need to exactly explain what you did, what was your role there. Don't just say, I participated in a migration project. What was your role there? You were developing the ETLs, and what happened? This process took this number of days. It was supposed to, maybe you can say, if it was projected that this process will take a month. You took this, you intervened, or you automated, or you did what you did, and you reduce the amount of time, or you increase the efficiency, you reduce the issues which could, everybody understands the issue. So you need to be very good in communication. You need to set clearly what was the issue, what you did, and what was the results. These big firms are data oriented. If you cannot quantify what you did, there's nothing you are explaining. If you are saying, for example, I was working as data engineer, I was monitoring ETLs from morning to ensure they are running. So what? What were you bringing on the table? You said we will ensure that the systems were up every day and the data was in time by the time business starts. And if they were complaining, they were over. You need to, it sounds like political, but you are already good. You are technically good. Now you need to prove that you are good at the end of the day. Okay. So first thing is communication. And the second thing is ensure what you are communicating is correct. Not people who will tell you that just be confident. Confident without being correct is good. You better pass the questions. Actually, Bruce asked me a question about the data protection, and I said, I don't know. I've not been working, but I need to know. I need to go and check what that act means, because it seems I'm also off guard. So one is communication skills, and the second thing, go and look at the company principles. For example, at Amazon, we have 18 principles, but for the technicals, the roles, you will be guided on the principles that you are asked. We have principles like what we call customer obsession. We are very customer oriented. Everything you do, you start with the customer and then work backwards. Now, especially for the question that you have asked me about, you dealt with a difficult customer, that correlates with that leadership principle. We are guided by leadership principle. Go for that company, look at the leadership principles, which guides them. But you see, Kenyan companies, we don't care as long as you do the job done. But for the side of other maybe international companies, you need to know their leadership principles, and then you tweak your answers to fit them. For example, we have another leadership principle. They are public. These are not private and confidential information I'm giving you. We have another leadership principle called be curious. Yeah, being curious means you learn. You need to explore things. You need to show that exactly you did something which shows curiosity. You invented a new way of doing things, and that's all. So what was the name of the guy who asked this question? I forgot. So yeah, I would say that because you are technical, ensure that all these knowledge that you have, you can communicate it properly so that you are heard and you are understood. You can get very technical and forget to communicate the same to the audience. Yeah. So that is what I would mention for that question. Please proceed.
Thank you, Dr. Stars.
Okay, we have someone else raising their hand. Don't mind me shifting the mic. You can see Denzel came and we had to give him space. We have Abdi Wahab. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrongly. So you can ask your question. Please.
Good evening, Justice. My name is Abdi. I'm a student at LuxDev, course 7 as a science student. My question is, okay, I have two questions. My first question is, okay, to fumble in an interview is one, but also not to be invited to that interview is another. Okay, sometimes you feel like you see jobs requirement, and you feel like, yeah, I feel like 90% I know some SQL, some Excel, some Power BI, what. Then you take your interview, you take your CV, you edit, then you send it. But most of the time, maybe, okay, it happened to me, and I'm sure it happened to other students. You don't even get called. You apply 10 jobs, you don't even get called. The best you can get is like you don't feel the profile, the kind of person they need. You don't feel it. So okay, has it ever happened to you in your early careers? I'm sure not now. and how to go about that. That's the first question. My second question is, okay, as a student now, you feel like when you see job requirement, you feel like you know some, others you don't know. So you feel like, let me just go learn, then do some project, then maybe after that I'll come back and apply for those jobs. Is that the right way, or you can just apply and then wait? Thank you.
Yeah, Abdullah, that's a good one. You mentioned something that so we also you say that we currently we don't have that feeling. You know, we always have that fear, and don't forget everybody has that fear. So don't think that you should, because we have good CVs, we don't have the fear, because also the people who are interviewing are superior or they are higher than you, or else it's normal, and you will definitely experience this. But since you expect it, now we need to work it out. I'm starting with the first question. Okay, I will just mix them because I felt they are quite interrelated. So when you are going for an interview, okay, not an interview, or you are being invited for an interview. Actually, I normally say being invited for an interview is first win, because it means that your CV landed to somebody, and these people were impressed by you. So that's now the job number 2 is now to convince them that you are good. But you see, another problem is that even if you match this job 100%, the chances are not that you will get it. That's a fact, because you're very good, because your CV matches the job requirement, does not guarantee that you will get the job. Maybe the interviewers have a different opinion on you, or anything, or you didn't meet their threshold, not because you were not good, but because of how they judged you, and that is expected. So if you are invited for an interview, just ensure you are prepared enough. Just give it your best. If you don't get it, you learn. You listen to the question that they asked you. You will definitely know if you need to have skill, or what you need. I've gone to many interviews whereby you felt you answered everything correctly, you did it, you gave it your best, you didn't trouble, you have everything they needed, but they still don't give you the job. They don't tell you the reason. You are not wrong. That's how it happens in most firms. Maybe they had somebody, an internal hire, and they already gave the job. But still on the same question. An interview where you feel you are confident enough, it happens, and that's allowed. But let me give another example. I've ever attended an interview whereby I felt like I'm very qualified. I work in a big firm. I didn't prepare. And then I was bombarded with very easy questions like when would I choose to use I don't know, the OLAP instead of I don't know which other system it was, and I could not remember, just because I didn't prepare. Maybe Abdullah, I've missed something on your question, but you'll just come again. But let me add on your second note. So what was your second issue? I even forgot because of that issue. Please reinstate your second question.
Okay, on the first question.
On the first question, yeah. Let's go one by one. I will forget because I'm not taking notes. Arun told me come freestyle.
Okay.
Yeah.
On my first question, it's like, even to be invited is a challenge. To be invited even to an interview, to be shortlisted, even government jobs or private jobs, is another challenge. Even people don't get the invitation to interview. To be shortlisted is even that's a success. But even people, they don't get shortlisted because I don't know what's wrong with CV or what kind of, or they're there, or those are just fake jobs, or they're there for the love of the game. They just advertise, but there's no jobs. You wonder sometimes, okay, how to go about that, like how to get even shortlisted. That's the first thing. The second thing,
can I check it that first before you go to the second one? Because I know I'll forget or confuse. Yeah, when it comes to shortlisting, actually I normally tell myself that is the most difficult step. And it's good that you also I agree with you that is the most difficult step. For you, if the trick that I've used and it has worked for me to get a job invite, do this. Just ensure your CV matches the job requirement. In this way, it can match. But you see, most of these firms are using some tools to scan your CVs. They will not tell you, but try to use the terminologies which are used in the job description, because the softwares that they use will match how identical how the words in your CV are matching with the words in the job description. Actually, that is how even Amazon does. It matches, and then the ones which shines, they are given to a human, and the human also checks, and then you are invited for an interview. This is something that is many people may not see it, but it happens. Try as much as possible to use the main points or the main words used in the job description. For example, assume this job says we need somebody who has expertise in right stored procedures in Oracle and Microsoft or other. And since you know Oracle, you know Microsoft, you know IBM, you know many things, you say you are an expert in database systems. You see, database systems answers the question, but maybe their system is not intelligent enough to know that. So try to use the words that they use. And there are people who just use the same CV for every job. You need to customize your CV to match that job. You see, that problem comes in when you apply so many jobs, or you are tired. You're just dropping CVs. You are desperate to send CVs. So even if you meet a job to do with, say, even a manager, and you have 1 year experience, you drop it. If you have another guy in finance and they have just mentioned SQL, you drop it. You also need to look for the jobs which suit you. Yeah, it's correct. It's true that some companies advertise jobs for formality, that they have people inside, but at the end of the day, they will need people. So you just apply and you increase the chances of getting. But here the catch is, ensure your CV is customized according to the job. And secondly, please use LinkedIn. I know you have LinkedIn profile. Actually, when I got my job at Cooperative Bank through LinkedIn, the HR guy reached out to me. I also saw that they are advertising 2 roles for data. You can have a look at the person who advertised it is the one who reached out to me. So if you're gonna have a look at the job, you're gonna know who reached out to me. So they have 2 jobs they advertise. Reach out to make sure you are very good. You are visible on LinkedIn. You never know. Make connections. If you have guys to recommend you, reach out to them. Ask if they can recommend you. At Amazon, I was also recommended. So it's all about that. And if I need a job at NCBA, I would ask Aaron. But you say, you know, it's not connection. It's just recommending. I know just as that's all. He will not influence the hiring, but of course he has brought my CV to the table, or somebody has gave a look at it. I've recommended 3 guys previously, one at Amazon, 2 at Cooperative, 1 at Cooperative Bank, 2 at Amazon, and they all got their jobs. So you just, if you reach out to me and tell me, hey, I need this job, you are working here or you are working here, I definitely, if I know the hiring manager, I tell you, oh, this guy is good. Or if I know you and tell me you are good, I just tell them, oh, have a look at this CV. So those are the things that makes the CV lands into the hiring manager's desk or the HR desk, and you are invited to the interview. Cool. Let's proceed.
Okay, I think the next person in the list is all those questions are answered. Kuna mtu alikuwa ameinua mkono akashikisha, so sijui ni nani. So just go on. You can see Denzel amefika. He's using my setup, so hapa ndio nilikuwa nimeketi, that is why I moved stations. Now there was questions in the chat, and unfortunately Denzel, I moved stations, so you'll have to read all the questions for him, and then he can answer. Yeah.
I can also see the questions. Actually, not many. Yeah.
Paul ameraise mkono, so let's have him. And after Paul, Chris, did you ask your question? Ngoja kwanza, Paul. Chris, did you ask your question?
No, I had not asked my question.
Okay, please ask, Chris, ask your question first, then Paul can ask next.
My question is two questions, but they're related. The first one is how deep, if you're planning a career track into analytics and machine learning and like, how deep do you need to go into other aspects? Like you mentioned networking, you mentioned what was typically called
operating systems, yeah.
Yeah, operating systems. How much do you need to know about processes and the like, and programming at a deep level? And the second question was about personal projects. Is it useful, or is it if you don't have such, or if you had a career or a job in a different field, will it make sense to have many personal projects? However, like in the case of networking, if you're able to emulate maybe an enterprise type network in GNS3, will it be something useful to showcase or to break down how machine learning algorithms work and re-implement them from scratch on maybe a Jupyter notebook? Is it useful to invest in such a personal project, or is it not really needed in the job market?
Yeah, thank you, Chris, for the two good questions. Yeah, let me admit that for entry-level jobs, it feels like a nightmare because you see, you are not bringing experience into the table. You have never worked anywhere or else. So your only thing which you are bringing here is hope that you can deliver. And how will you convince the manager, the hiring team, that for sure this guy can deliver when they are given opportunity? So here are two things. One you have mentioned is the projects, and the two is the skills. The skills that you have, the skills and the projects will go hand in hand. And that is why I mentioned earlier that you need to increase your chances of getting hired, or else getting this job by showing how much you know or how much you have done. Because you have never been into the industry, you have not done a real world solution or project. What you need to do is to have those projects. For example, for machine learning, you can do those publicly. You can have a project for every maybe machine learning model, the normal one, the scikit, the forestry. When you do a project, and whenever you ask the question, probably you did the data processing, you did the fine tuning, you did all that. So you already knowledgeable. So these two, the projects that you are done, it will make your skills visible. For sure, it will convince the team that this guy is good, he lacks opportunity. If he's given opportunity, he can turn these skills that he have acquired into assets in the company. So you need to showcase those projects. In most times, they don't ask you, show us our GitHub, your GitHub account or what. They just tell you to explain or tell you to explain some of the project that you have done. But when you meet those serious guys, they can ask for the project. They may ask you for the GitHub. But in most cases, you find the guys who are interviewing you, they are not concerned about that. But even if you don't show your GitHub account, whatever you know will speak for itself. If you cannot, you will be able to explain. Given a problem, if you use this machine learning algorithm, you don't need to go to the details to explain how machine learning thought out the mathematics behind it. Why was it written? So that we can use it not to start building the Bayesian theory behind the machine learning model. So here the catch is you just need to know what not at a higher level, but you need to be at a level of building the model, not designing it from scratch. Do as many projects as you can, learn as many techniques as you can, but for the data world, please, you can go as deep as you want in Python. In SQL, you may not, because SQL is limited on how much you can do, even if you are not in the system. But Python, you can actually do. You start getting gigs online, as I was doing in 2021. You can even go for certification in deep learning. I know deep learning AI are doing them. LuxDev, I don't know, I know they are offering. So these things, when you are at entry level, your only catch here is to just learn as much as possible, do as many projects you can, but it's not the depth of the understanding those machine learning models, how they are designed, that may not be helpful to you, because even the person who is asking you, unless you have a PhD or you are going to Silicon Valley to start developing them, that is when it's necessary. But working as a data scientist or data engineer, you just need to use the models, not to build them from scratch. I believe I've answered the two questions connected. Yep. Right, we can proceed.
Perfect. So thank you. Looking for any other question that was asked. I can see Nani may confirm you have answered this question well. There was Patrick Masese. He's in code 7. Patrick to me interacts Jini wapi. But ask your question, please. Patrick, umeuliza swali ama you go to Paul? Patrick?
Yeah.
We can't hear you. Hey, Patrick, we can hear you now. Go on.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So,
Address from Justice.
I wanted to ask about the two tech areas. The data engineering.
Patrick, you are breaking. I don't know if you can hear. Is it my issue from my side?
Nisaidia kasi yako.
Okay.
Can you
Patrick, please proceed.
can you hear me? Yeah. So my question was about the two tech areas, the data engineer and data analytics. So the data analysis. Are the two career paths independent or standalone? And another question is, in your opinion, which career path is better, let's say for someone who is interested in working with the data for a long time? And also, maybe in terms of getting the gigs. Yeah, I just want to get the clear. I want you to just give the to answer that.
Okay, Patrick, I get you, and thank you for your question. So you've mentioned that between data engineering and analytics, which one, how do I see it, and which one in my own opinion, it's not the correct answer, it's not the wrong answer, but it's my own opinion, which one is better, and which one you can get gigs easily. Okay, let me say that when it comes to data engineering, it sounds cool, and it's cool. Data science sounds cool, and the analytics into at a large, I feel like it has two main points, two main branches. One is engineering, and the other one is business intelligence, whereby you build those beautiful dashboards and communicate the insights to the business. And we have the data pipeline, the data engineers who are the backend guys who build now the pipelines to ensure the data comes from the source, it's reached to the destination. The front end guys, the dashboards are fed with the data, and the business is happy. On the other side, we have the data science who are dealing with mostly predictive or analytics, telling us where we would be, depending on where we are and where we have come from. In those three fields are very promising, but from where I stand from, I see I see caveats in all the sides. With data engineering, I'm more of a backend guy, so I feel like I'm more in data engineering. But I also do BI. I've built dashboards back when I was at Equity and also at Cooperative Bank. And currently now I support down the entire ecosystem. I feel like data engineering, it's not something that you can do at home. You need somewhere to be doing that thing. You need a company to give you the opportunity to build the pipelines for them. Because you need to show how you can use distributed systems. You need to show how you can write codes to move data to point A to point B and all that. You may not be able to use tools like Glue, that the AWS Glue. You may not have access to tools like Informatica. You may not have access to tools like Oracle Data on ODI, Oracle Data Integrator, which are used in the corporate world. So for data engineering, you may not do it much at home. And that is where you see most people now, even the freelancers, are data scientists. Because as a data scientist, you can practice it using the publicly accessible data. You can do it from anywhere. Although with the data engineering, you can do the same setup, but you will not have that defined problem. So coming to your question again, I can't say there is one better over the other. It is completely depends on your interests, but I feel like data science is more statistical oriented. I feel like guys who thrive better there are the guys who are coming from mathematics and statistics. That's my opinion, because they mostly understand the mathematics behind those models and they know where to optimize them. But when it comes to data engineering, you find the guys from software, the computer science shining so much because they know how to write efficient code. They know how to communicate with computers, so they are quite good in it. And I also know Aaron is a data engineer. He's coming from computer science. Also, I don't know. Also know he's from mathematics. So I think he's an hybrid guy. So I really can't tell which is better. But for you to get gigs remotely, I tried it. Data science appears to be more having more jobs. But when it comes to gigs, you find that they need someone who's all around, who has skills in BigQuery, Google BigQuery. They have experience in Redshift. They have experience in SQL. They have experience in the Azure Data Factory. And now they need somebody who is good. And then at the end of the day, they need a data scientist. So for freelancing, you may need to build up, to stack up skills. But data science seems to be easily getting to give you gigs online, and that's per my own opinion. Maybe somebody else has a different experience. Yep, that's all for Patrick.
Okay,
Let's
Victor. About come say hi to people here. They were looking for Victor mwenye atakuwa anaongea kwa event next weekend.
Okay.
I hope you're in a position to speak though. Okay, you're becoming shortly. Ndio huyo. Sema hi, tell us about the talk that you'll be giving. Umsi alikuwa data science East Africa kitambo. I'm unmuted.
Is it quite on?
Hapo AWS saizi. Pata pesa mingi simuulize. Nyaringia huko.
Hello, niaje everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, Justus.
Yes, vipi?
Nasikia ati uko AWS.
Unaniona hapa bado niko kwa ofisi.
Yeah. I tried hosting some stuff on AWS, but they were too expensive.
Yeah. Cloud AWS is expensive. It's expensive. Yeah, if you need to burn your money, you can run stuff over there.
No, mi nataka cheap servers.
Yes.
But you doesn't pay credits zako.
We can discuss that one.
Anyway, I wanted you to mention about the talk that you'll give next week.
Okay. So my name is Victor. Next week in the expo, I'll be doing the AI agents talk. So basically trying to show people what AI agents are, how different they are from LLMs like ChatGPT, their capabilities, and all these things. Basically how you can hire a virtual employee.
Yes,
and if you want to host them like 24/7 in a run, you can host them on AWS. Because sure, just as because I saw that people who know their way around AWS can know how to do things in a much cheaper way. as compared to kama mimi mwenye tu.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you guys, if you want to see just a
Link
circle,
up,
just
link up.
invite him. I don't
Yeah.
want to invite
Yeah.
him. I invited him today, so it's your work.
Yeah, yeah.
Alan, please need a virtual session on AI agent. We did that. Actually, we did that, and Victor was the one leading. So we will do it again. And also, if you're coming for the workshop from 3 to 5, we'll be doing AI agent, working on building an AI agent that can compete on AI competition. Then ZD competition.
Actually, let me add one thing. I was around the offices and then I left. And when I left, niliacha some agents working on there's something I'm developing. So niliziacha tu nimezipea a list of tasks that they should do. And now I'm going to check what they've done. So basically that is what we'll be showing, how you can hire something on the server that runs 24/7.
And number 2, I was to say this. Steve Kolesha anakuanga number 1 ZD atakuwa. So your agents will be competing with him. Whatever you guys build will be competing with him. So we'll try to see how it goes. Anyway, we have so many questions. Thank you, Victor. We will see you on Friday. You can go with it. Then okay. Okay. Thank you. We'll talk later. Utaki. Yeah, go with it. Yeah, go with it. Perfect. So, it's me here who lost focus. Anyway, it was Victor. He was in office. He built AI agent. Akatoka akaacha AI agents zikibuild software and other things. Sasa anarudi kuangalia, then aende nyumbani alale. It's is that not interesting actually? So on Saturday you'll be helping you for a total of 2 hours on how to build up an AI agent that can compete on ZD. Then you guys will be building one, and once you become top 10, you'll get all the full merchandise here at Data Science East Africa. It's interesting, right? Yeah. Then you'll have the first person on the ZD competition, also in the workshops to show you how you win. So it's a win-win. You can either use the skills or you use AI agent. Anyway, Mulimi. Sorry,
Yes,
not
yes.
Mulimi. Just go through the questions in the chat and complete. Let's try to summarize it in the next 15 minutes, right?
Yeah, I've already highlighted the questions which I feel like I cannot skip them. So, yep, I've already put them on on OneNote. So one was asked by, I can't remember the name now, but he asked what is the skill set or tech stack if a data analyst would like to pivot into cloud support engineer and data analytics. That's now to come where we are. As I mentioned in my introductory, I said for this case, SQL is non-negotiable. You need to add another programming language of your choice, definitely probably Python. And then you need, for AWS, you need to understand networking. You need to understand operating systems. You can just Google AWS questions for support. There are some common, very common questions which they ask. Because I had already mentioned answer that, I will not go into deep into that. So the second question was asked, as a data engineer or analyst, where do you interact with customers? What scenarios as you interact with the customers in your role? I want to make it clear that where I am at the moment, I'm not working as a data engineer. You know, I'm supporting the data engineers. This is the setup. We have companies which run the analytical systems on AWS cloud. And these guys have engineers who manage those systems or they build the systems. And now those engineers encounter issues with their processes or the knowledge gap or any issue when their processes are running on the cloud. So what happens that the engineers, not the business people, opens ticket with us. And now as a cloud support engineer, I come in, I troubleshoot the issue. Definitely, if it's a configuration issue, I assist. If it's a knowledge gap, I try to assist the person. If the person I feel like they are not, they just ignorant, maybe they didn't read the documentation properly, I refer them to the documentation, but still assist the customer. That's how we do it. we don't build the ETLs for the customers. The customers does the job for themselves, and wherever they get stuck, that is where they come to us and we assist them. So what that means is that you need to understand the service more than the customer, but the customer can be knowing the coding more than you, but you know the service where they are running on. So that's all. Sometimes you meet the customers from big companies like HP, like IBM, like those big firms. So this is a guy who knows what they want, but you know the service itself, and you have to assist them. That's my day in, day out, how it looks like. There is another question here. There is this aspect you get to an interview, then during the interview, the questions you asked, it got nothing related to what you applied, and you'll find they go off topic completely. How does that one handle? Yeah, I believe I touched that one earlier. Sometimes, you know, the way most companies conduct their interviews is not very good because they have everyone in the call. They don't set clear expectations on how the interview will be. But let me give an example of how I've ever answered a question which was completely off topic on what I was being interviewed. It was something to do with AWS cloud. They wanted a AWS cloud person to support on their to assist them to build pipelines. But then they started asking me stuff to do with if I know if I've worked with Google BigQuery. Yeah, I was, you know, you don't become rude. You just tell the person off in a polite way that you have not explored that option, but it's a learning point to you. You have not worked with that cloud provider, but it's a learning point. I'm insisting that don't say this thing is not related. It's not what you came here to do, but just show that you have not explored it, but it's a learning. Something you are taking it for learning. Yeah. The last one on my list, as a little beginner in this tech field, how long would you say it takes to be provisioned? How do you get potential employers trust you enough? Any guidelines on how to match previous work experiences and product life management to analytics? Good question. I think that was the last question. So as I mentioned, getting the first job is the most difficult thing because you have to convince somebody that for sure you can get this job done. So here, if you are interviewing for a analytics role, or you are applying for analytics role, just first thing I want you to understand, whenever you see a job which is stated like we need a person with at least 4 years experience, they simply mean they need a beginner. You don't need to have any experience. And you'll never see a job saying that you don't need to have experience unless it's a graduate trainee at KPMG or DTB or PwC or another person, another company. Those are the ones which specify that they need someone without, but whenever you see a job state saying that we need someone at least 4 years or 2 years, they simply tell you that we need somebody who has no experience, who has not worked. So whenever you see that, just give it a shot. But also, just if you are applying for analytics role, just ensure that whatever those small things you are doing, you did your personal projects, ensure that you demonstrate properly that you applied analytics in that stuff. Even if you are just building a dashboard in Excel, that is what you have in your plate, and that is what will guide you. The reason why I'm saying that whenever you see a company advertising over less than 4 years experience, their salary expectation is also low. So you will not find me there, or you'll not find some other guys there applying, because you know, when it comes to salary negotiation, you may not, you will not even get the job, because you will be told that you didn't manage the interview because of the expectation. So just ensure that you bundle all those previous jobs, the challenges that you undertook on Zindi. Do you guys check Zindi? Check on Zindi. Anywhere else, look for any challenge. If it's on Kaggle, take those challenges, build on your CV, get those free certifications, anything. You see, you have nothing, so you need anything can assist you. You have nothing, so you can't lose anything. So you can only gain. You see, so bundle all those skills, learn as much as you can. Everything that comes along, just add it onto your skill set, and it will work wonders. That's all for the questions that I had set aside. We viewed it. You can connect on LinkedIn if you need. You can ask me questions over there. If you see jobs opening on my side, you can ask me, hey man, can you recommend me here, or what is our requirements? And then definitely I will say, I'll give you guidelines and also tell you how the interviews are conducted. Yes, that's all from me, Aaron and Ezel. Thank you.
Perfect. So the last one, I want you to, Paul, your question was answered. If it was, you can lower your hand. Paul Cassidy, was your question answered?
No.
Okay, ask your question, then Patrick Maina. Mwimi, can
Yes,
you
yes.
allow to? I know I had requested you for 90 minutes.
No problem. Hata mimi nadhani you guys are the ones in rush. I can speak for 3 hours.
Sisi hatuna haraka, tunaweza kukisha weekend hapa tu.
Okay,
Tunaenda
okay.
kumzinga hapa mbele.
Okay, okay.
So answer Paul and Patrick, then we can end the session.
Justus, how are you?
Oh, very good, very good.
Cool. I'm Paul. I'm in the cohort 8. I'm learning. I'm a student. I've just 2 questions for you, Justus. One, if you are to hire me 90 days, what will you expect me to have built?
Sorry, if I was to hire you in the next 90 days or for 90 days?
In the next 90 days, because I've just I'm to begin my official class on 25th. We have just had 4 days orientation. Yes, so in the next days, if you are to hire me, what will you expect me to have built?
Good one. Now that sounds very practical. Cool. So if now I was to interview you in the next 90 days, being at Lux Academy, what I would ask you, I will not expect you have industry experience. I will not expect that you know stuff to do with not custom, but the enterprise tools like ETL tools such as Informatica, ODI, Microsoft SSIs. I would not expect that from you, but I would expect easy things like I would interview you about data modeling. I would expect you understand different data model schemas. You may need to understand why you would use a star schema over a different schema. I would also expect you to write a query which joins a few tables, which performs a few tables. I would also expect you that you can write a query where I ask you, give me the salary of every top paid employee in each department. I would expect that you able to write such a query. I would also expect that you have done a simple Python data processing project, probably using pandas. I would expect that you can perform data cleaning. You can do simple visualization using the open source tools like Python. I will not expect you to build a Power BI dashboard because you don't have access to it. You don't. You don't have the licenses. But I would expect you to build some cool visualization using Python. In other words, I would treat you as a beginner, entry-level person who does not have the hands-on experience in the real world, but they have experience in building general projects. So I would look at your GitHub. I want to know what kind of project you have. I want to hear that you have done a simple project to classify the what do we call that? There is that common data set for which classifies different leaves. I don't know whether they are leaves or what. I would expect you to perform a project like that one for the wine tasting. So those entry-level projects are the one which sets you apart, and that is what I would be looking for. Yep.
Okay, the last one.
Yeah.
Justus, the let's say you are now supposed to unrewind, and you are just to begin your career in data analytics.
Yep.
What will you focus yourself in the next 90 days so that you can become employable?
So if I'm starting my career again in data science, I would still focus on the same technologies and the tools that we mentioned earlier, the building blocks, the foundational skills for analytics. I would definitely work on SQL, but the learning curve for SQL is not very steep. So I would give more time on Python, and then explore other technologies, not into depth, but just to understand how they would work, like distributed systems. Actually, if there is something I would like to learn at the moment is Spark. I've used it before, but I feel like I've forgotten. I need to master Spark. So you just understand the distributed systems. You also need to understand what we call it, the machine learning. And now you see we're in the world of AI. You cannot leave it behind. You need to understand you need to the fundamental understanding of how AI works and how it can be used to make your job to make your job easier. Those are the items which I would major in: SQL, Python, learn distributed system, not to master it, just to understand generally how it works, and then touch other technologies out there. You understand some cloud computing concepts. You don't be green. You don't just stick to one thing. As I mentioned earlier, the more you learn, the more you are knowledgeable in diverse areas, is where you increase the chances of employability, and also increases the chances that even if you ask the question from any side, you are able to answer it. Yep.
Okay, thank you so much.
Cool.
That was so deep. So I know the areas to focus on now.
Okay.
Cool. Wait, any question? There are two questions. Mimi.
Yes.
I'm addressing you like someone who ever taught you.
Yes. Let's proceed.
It's funny.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the first thing I want you to do is go and check your LinkedIn. Najua imejaa connection requests. That's the first thing. Good. When did you send your request ya LinkedIn? Au kutuma link yako ya LinkedIn? So unaweza tuma, ndio. Then Jay anasema you can try that's good. Hi Justus, I sent the notification that is Benta code 6. Then Harun, we need a virtual AI agent that was handled Power BI. Okay, good. I think you have handled all that I need. I don't know how your weekend looks like, but at the same link that we talked to today, we can get your slot so that you can talk to them. I know there are many people who want to be here and they'll be there, and then the vice versa, because it's public. I know there are many people who are here and won't be here. Mtuka Paul ako either Kisumu ama Uganda, so we don't expect him next weekend. So I want you to, if possible, you can come and talk to them. I will really appreciate it. Talk at its center from 10 a.m. to around 5, 6. That's good. To my LinkedIn page yako link so that they can connect with you.
Yes,
Don't stress yourself answering all the DM leo. Kesho kutwa, take a month or 2, but please make sure that you answer at the end.
Sure.
There was Patrick Minor. Did you answer the Patrick Minor questions? Patrick, be brief so that Denzel can have time.
Yeah, thank you, Harun. I hope I'm audible.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. So I have 2 questions, 2 quick ones for Justus. So my background is mainly in embedded. I'm just relatively new to the data field. So my first one is it still relevant to talk about my experience in embedded, especially when I'm applying for data roles, or should I just focus on, it's important to focus on building on my data skills, but is it still relevant to talk about my previous experience in embedded?
Yes, Patrick, let me take that one before you bring the second one. It's a good question, and happy to learn that you are coming from embedded. And embedded, in this case, I understand that business systems is more of hardware, right? It's
Yeah,
have to do with
my focus is mostly in
Arduino
hardware.
and which tools are you using? Just to ensure that I get it.
I started with Arduino, but I kind of advanced. So right now I'm using Raspberry
Raspberry
Pi,
Pi.
ESP32,
Yeah,
STM32. Yeah, those ones.
Yeah, okay, I get you, and that's a great one. I also started with Arduino, but later on, I stopped going that way of the electronics or embedded systems. Actually, my 4th-year project I did using Arduino or some sort of solar thing, but using Arduino. So, it's important. You can. It's important. Okay, it's important to mention your past experiences and the what you have done before, but ensure that they resonate with the job in this way. Say that you are good in embedded systems, okay? But how does these embedded systems interact with analytics? You see, you can have a system whereby your embedded systems now comes like IoT. It's generating some data, and that data feeds some another dashboard. That dashboard is built on Power BI. So you just need to see how you can join these skills or the project that you did, or else the technologies that you are using, and how they can be interconnected to the side where you are, and how actually the company can gain from you. You see, for example, assume now you were going to be interviewed for a role in bank, and you have those you have embedded system knowledge. You can actually tell them we can even have a system to track the ATMs in the real time, just to collect some metrics, send it to a system, and then display it on a dashboard. You see, that is a very high level. I don't know how that works, but from that banking perspective, I know that's a problem. So try to tune the skills from anywhere. Even if it was a charity work, you are given some stuff to do to collect data. You show how you also turn these data into insights, how you build something from the data. And that is what actually everybody is saying. You need to quantify what you did, and you need to put it to show that you really created value. Yes, that's what I have for that question.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Then the second one is, as far as I know, but I could be wrong on this, but most of the roles that we know that are in AWS right now, especially here locally, are cloud-based, cloud support-based roles. So for someone who's interested in machine learning and AI, are there any prospects of getting actual development roles here in Kenya? Maybe in the next couple of years or so.
That's a
in
good
AWS
one.
Specifically.
Yeah. That's a good one. But from where I sit, I may not be able to answer that. I really not sure the direction which if the company, for sure it will have the developers on this side. It's absolutely something that I'm not sure, and I can't tell if it's there. I can't really tell the timelines on anyone. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Cool. Welcome. I think we are done. Back to you, Harun.
Oh, perfect. That's good. Mimi, I'm happy. I was happy of a guy who completed the first round, but if you ask me someone who is carrying a Lux or Data Science East Africa certificate, and I'm happy for him, you'll be among the people.
Yes.
But I'm really happy. We have people that we can see they are doing good in the industry. We have people who are making 400, 500. I don't know, like give us the range. You don't have to give us a salary, but you can give us the list that you can get at AWS.
Yes, Aaron, that's a fair question. So something that you will realize not only at AWS but on all other firms, you'll realize is that they are not very good in payment, especially if where you are coming from, you are not earning very well. They determine your salary based on what you are earning at that time. You see, that's now the worst thing about it. But look at this way. At AWS, I know you may not go below 300. Even if you are a newcomer, if you are associate, you may not go below 300. So that you can be assured of. I don't know of the marks, but it completely depends on where you are coming. So if you are somewhere and you are thinking of coming to Amazon, ensure that you negotiate properly, so that if you are coming this other side, you also have, if you are given a 50% or 30% increment, is something good. And actually it works across the country. It cuts across the country. And I was mentioning I forgot to mention, when I was leaving Equity Bank, that back then I was being paid around, was 125 to be specific. Because I was paid 125,000 when I went to Cooperative Bank, I was underpaid back at Equity. But when I went to Co-Bank, they gave me what was it? Close to it was twice, actually, to be specific. It was twice. But they had their minimum. So that sounded like the minimum. But I asked for more. So when we negotiated, I came to that. I had asked close to 3 times, but I was being given Equity Bank. So we settled that twice. You get it? But I was realistic. I had already asked about the salary expectation. So I had been told, for this level, just go at least this one. So to me, it felt a lot, but I already found that guys are earning more than me. So, but I was not comparing myself with anybody else. But basically, that's the industry standard. If you have more years of experience, you can actually even go higher, even 1 million or more. But there is no limit on where you can, how high you can go. Yep. Arun, hapo nimejibu ama?
No, we had talked about this separately, so that satisfies me. And I'm really glad to see the growth.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm really proud of you, guy.
Yeah.
I remember the conversation that I was looking at them since 2 years, 3 years, because I lost one of my devices, and I'll say hey, watutoka mbali, and you're one of them. Anyway, I'm very proud of you. We'll talk about the other thing separately. I will chat you later.
Yes.
Also about the next weekend. Don't feel pressured, but I will talk to you later. So you can feel free to drop unless there is any burning question that can't be addressed, and also leave us with your final remarks. Also, last weekend we had someone. You remember the guy who was asking, Sichika Judy, Ilikwanga Judy and Victor. Sichika Victor, there was a guy who called requirement of AWS here, and I gave him the chance. It's like 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Judy, uko hapa? Mbugu. She's not here. Anthony. Anthony is not here also. But anyway, I think Justus works with the same guy who called that day, looking at teaching you, and also you're very impressed. So we all love the guy for like 1 month or 2, but also next week we have someone else for you, and the other week we are making sure that you get the best out of the best that we can ever get. We have the resources. I'm sorry, the last 2 weekends we didn't have night job shadowing, but we'll try to maintain the consistency. Otherwise, all the best. Thank you, Mimi. We'll chat. Leave us with your final remarks, then you can leave and enjoy your night.
Yes. Thank you so much, Aaron, again for this opportunity. I'm actually humbled, and it's a pleasure to talk to over 100 people listening. I'm very humbled. I'm very happy, and I would like to participate in another conversation. Team, we can link up. If you feel like there is something I can assist you on, you can drop me a message on LinkedIn and we can touch. Thank you, team. Cool, and bye.
Okay. Kauko serious kuongelesha watu hadi wengine next weekend kutakuwa na hadi.
All right, bye.
Let's see kama utakuja wa face. Nasikia kauoga kwa mbali. I can't see but nisikia.
Cool, bye. Bye, guys.
Okay, bye. Let's go now to Denzel. Denzel is using the Lux Tech Academy account, so I give him the space, and he'll be picking next. Denzel was doing data engineering, coming from civil mechanical engineering. Unmute yourself.
I hope I'm audible enough for like a
yeah. You came from mechanical civil.
Civil.
Yeah, he's coming from civil engineering background. So those guys who say I'm from a tech background, I can't hack this. Now you can have someone. Also, one of your trainer, anakuanga civil engineer, Bridget. So yeah, we also have mechanical engineers, we have civil engineers, we have had economics, we have had statistics and economics in class, statistics and mathematics as your trainer. We have me as a computer science and mathematics graduate. Currently looking at a master's in AI in the September intake, so we'll upgrade that later. But yeah, there are many opportunities. We have had Kina Katumo. I think I've never mentioned this to you guys, but he was a Form 4 graduate. We took him, he trained, and then he was absorbed by one of our partners. It is called Akerich. You joined as an intern, and now he is a data software engineer there. We have had the likes of George. George was the first person to get the job since we started the cohort, since we started the premium classes, and now he works as a senior software engineer doing the backend stuff. And how did he got it? He completed the capstone project and present kwa his manager. So don't keep quiet with what you're doing, building. That is my point. Then let's go to Denzel. Denzel, how are you? Coming from work that you recently joined. A data engineer, Stanbic Bank, alumni, Lux Academy. How do you feel?
I feel great. It's been 1.5 months now. I'm growing into the role. Yeah, I'm just from work. I left work around like 6 p.m. So the man because there's a lot of background noise, but now I'm here. It feels nice and yeah.
Ushakula salary. Unasikia fiti. Rifadi ya fees imekuja mara ngapi?
So it's a multiplier lakini ni multiplier nzuri. I can't complain.
Okay, good. All the best. Go on with the introduction. Tell us about your journey and anything that you think can inspire you, can inspire others. I don't know what time you're going on, but I'm targeting to end this by 10:20. So, where your things?
Yeah, sure. I'll take proper use of that time.
Tell us about civil engineering and software engineering.
Okay.
And data engineering, sorry, at Stanbic Bank.
Okay. So, hi guys, my name is Denzel Kanyeki Kinywa. I am a data engineer at Stanbic Bank, and I started off as a civil engineer. So I'll start off with a little bit of history. So I studied civil in uni, and it got to around 4th year, and I think I needed something to do on the side, and code was the thing that I needed to do on the side. So I touched code for the first time. That was backend. I was learning Python at the time and started building backend applications when I was in 4th year. That is back in 2024, I guess, 2023, I guess, towards the end of it. And I attended the Data Science East Africa's first cohort, learning data science for I think 6 weeks. And then I was doing my final exams at that time. So I just didn't finish at that time. So I did backend engineering for 2024, and then when it came to the end of 2024, towards the start of 2025, I wanted to do something linear. I wanted to major on something something that I want to do that is related to data. I first chose data science, but after some research on the internet, YouTube and whatnot, I came onto data engineering and I joined Lux in May. And from there, it's been a journey. I came here in April, learning, interacting with trainers, interacting with my fellow colleagues in the coach, learning from them, learning from my trainers, building projects, and also applying for jobs as consistently as I could. And building projects basically. And it's not many people tend to see it as you wake up and it just happens, but it's a one step of a 1,000-mile journey. It doesn't mean that I'm at the 1,000th mile, but we're still getting there. But it's a step each day towards the right destination. So, and I think for this career path, there's nothing as a destination. Basically, it's just a continuous journey of learning from your seniors, learning from your colleagues. Because in programming, in engineering, basically, civil, mechanical, software, data, there is no one who knows much, who knows everything in that field. So yeah, I built projects here and there and put them on my GitHub. Also wrote blogs on dev.io, and also documented my projects well on GitHub, and also did like a small like a portfolio website where I was able to like display the projects that I've done, the blogs that I've done. And yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a journey that I'm really appreciative of. And how I got to get this role is I was following someone on Twitter, and this is someone that I was actually following on GitHub. And one day he reached out and he was like, we have this specific role at this company that is like Stanbic, and he asked for my CV, and I went through a couple of interviews. And yeah, that's how we got here. I've been there for like 2 months. It's been nice, it's been great. I've been learning from our lead, been learning from my colleagues. The work has been really nice, and I can't complain. It's a really nice job. You get to learn every day. You get to experience other tools, but the tools that you get to use at your job is just the tools that you interacted with when you're just learning. It's just you're using them on a different scale. When you're doing your projects, you're doing them at let's say at a smaller scale, but when you get there, you're going to be using the same tools at a greater scale, using like impactful tools like Airflow, but not now on like small projects, but now on a huge project that needs security, that needs scalability, it needs to be reliable. So yeah, it's been a great learning experience, and looking forward for more. So yeah, that's my introduction of who I am, my journey from where I came from. That's from civil engineering to basically data engineering and through software, and how work is for me. I could also like do a day-to-day. So a day-to-day for me is like I get to the office in the morning. That is like bread and butter for everyone who works. So get to the office in the morning, look through the pipelines that were running the previous night, or the pipelines that were scheduled. You look through the pipelines that have failed. You go through the logs. You get to diagnose the pipelines and fix them, and then get into a stand-up meeting. You get to like talk about what you've been doing or what you've been up to. And then you get to like your day-to-day tasks, what you had planned for the day. And then you exit the office whenever you want to. If you want to like do an overtime, that's up on you. But yeah, that's basically my day-to-day. You just do work. That's my introduction of who I am, how I transitioned from civil through software into data engineering, how my day-to-day looks. And yeah, I'd be happy to take questions or further instructions from Harold. Thank you.
That was a very simple introduction, Buona.
Due to like time that has been scheduled and the amount of questions that just as had, I was like, let me keep it simple. Alafu we could I think many people would have questions. So.
Did you ever think utakuwa hapa? Like, did you ever see yourself like when you joined? Ulikuwa meaning like in at times like you'll be doing let's keep it minimal at basic ADL plus a month. Do you believe that first?
Okay, so for where I am at right now, tracking back to when I started learning at LAX, taking the data engineering course, for the company that I'm in right now, I didn't like envision, and it's all in the process, it's all in the journey, but I didn't see it being here, but I saw it going somewhere, because I was like, at the beginning of 2025, I was like, yeah, I want to do data engineering. I think I'm going to take this as a very serious path, and I'll do it till the end, until my legs run off. So yeah, I didn't envision myself being here, but I'm grateful for being here.
It wasn't a marketing thing. You're saying you're grateful. It's your hard work.
So, yeah.
If you become marketing and you have got 8 people who just paid, there is no one here who hasn't paid.
It's not
marketing.
It's all
I
about.
don't want anything to do with marketing. It's like, you remember what Stan said in 2 weeks ago? Like, if you're not motivated enough to work, like, dude, like, just give up. That sounded good. And like, he's working with the lady from KFC, and I'm very sure you'll be joining the, and they are doing something that will be getting him from. He joined us in January this year, and he's making something decent. And then in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I'm very sure he'll be making that 200. So my point is not you motivating people, but giving you the experience of what it is to work as a data engineer in the field. Which tools do you use? What do you think were the things that made you get selected over others? Unadhani ulikuwa peke yako?
Sikuwa peke yangu, tulikuwa wengi.
I remember when you were coming and telling me, nakutana wale wasa Stanbic 3 p.m. That is in the first chat after I bought my first one. You coming here doing all the interviews. Ulikuwa umefanya interviews ngapi? Ile asafu ulikuwa umepata ngapi? Like, that is the experience that I want you to have. A genuine chat with them.
Okay, sure. So for the tools that I use on a day-to-day basis is basic data engineering tools, Airflow, Python, a lot of SQL, Airflow, Airflow, SQL, and Python. Because it's a regulated field, we don't just use a lot of tools. We have to use tools that have been approved by the bank. So we use Python, SQL, and Airflow. That's the tools that I use the most. Also, for how I got here is just building projects, being 1% better every day. Just choose a project, choose a data engineering project. Let's say your interest is in finance, or your interest is in healthcare, or whatever your interest will be. Let me use finance because that's where my interests were. So if your interest is in finance, you could take a project in the finance field. Let's say you could go to take up a data set from Kaggle that is finance-based, and build a pipeline that is an ETL pipeline, getting to extract the data from Kaggle or from an API or from any source system that you will get, transform it into the required schema or the required business requirements, and then load it into a database. So doing projects, I used to do projects, I think weekly. We used to do weekly projects, personal weekly projects, and then I could get to upload them on GitHub and document them well using a README, and then write a blog about them on dev.io, and then share them on Twitter, and then share them on LinkedIn. So I think I've been asked a question about the Safaricom interview. So I did the Safaricom internship interview, and I think I got a 96% on that interview. And I got an offer letter 3 days ago, but I don't think I will because I have another thing to I have Stanbic, so I don't think I'll take it. But yeah, it was a nice experience. You get to use those tools.
Just wait a minute. Did I hear you say you got an offer letter 3 days ago?
Yes.
Which company is this?
Safaricom.
Safaricom?
Yes.
In an internship?
Perfect.
Actually, Sandra started there. She now sits behind me, actually. We're in the same team. You know that same company. Yeah, good. That's good. They were in the same codes. Nakina Emmanuel, Nakina Los, Nakina Ivry, Nakina... Which is this other person that I can remember? Anyway, let's keep it there. Kina Monyakoyate, Nanitangoji. Joseph Hinga. Good. I'm very proud that you guys... The team is coming up together. I can say I have 10, 15 people from the second who can sit somewhere and say they got something. Anyway, go on. And you can guide them on how you applied, how you got there, and tell them about the formation. Then we put a formation in Guinea. But let's say about formation so that they can take advantage of it actually.
Okay. So yeah, so let me continue from this Falcon point. So basically for the codility that we did, it's just the tools that we use on a day-to-day basis. So you are asked about PySpark and a bit of machine learning. So for that, just basic tools that we use on a day-to-day basis, and yeah, and also the power of like your colleagues also helps a lot because they give you ideas on projects. You get to help the next person, the other person, and also looking into projects in GitHub where someone has been doing, let's say, a project in data engineering. Let's say they built a streaming pipeline from Binance into a database, and you get to like go through what they did, and it gives you a better understanding on what you need to do, because I think you get to learn from people better and get to learn better concepts, get better ideas from other people. So it's really good to also interact with other people and tell them what you're all about, what you do. Posting your projects online is also a big plus, because that is how I got the referral into Stanbic by the person who referred me there. And just putting yourself out there by posting your projects, posting your blogs. It also when you write a blog or when you explain what you've done to another person, it gives you a deeper understanding of what you've done. And it also cements your knowledge into what you've done. If you said you did a project where you pulled data from Binance into a PostgreSQL database, it deepens your knowledge in what you've done. And this goes a long way in understanding what you do. So apart from that, I think in terms of like tools and whatever's needed for the job or what I use for my day-to-day work, I think, yeah, that's all. I think I use Python, SQL, and Airflow. Also for Python and SQL, I think for Python it has a steeper learning curve. I think I'm defining it right. I don't know if it's steeper or not steep. It's very steep, and you're not going to like understand everything at the same time. You're going to like some days it's like, nah, it's hangy, but sometimes that's why it's getting better 1% every day, because you get to like write Python every day. Just start small, start writing small projects, and with time you'll get a better understanding of what you're doing, of what the syntax is, of what Python does, because Python and SQL are just languages. How you and I are interacting using English and Kiswahili. You're interacting with the computer or the system using code. That's all that it is. So you need to like get syntax. You need to like get a basic understanding of what you're doing by practicing every day, and I promise it's going to get into your fingertips real easy. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. I don't have any other question. I will take questions from your colleague. I know some of them are your classmates listening to you. How does that feel?
Motivating.
We started Bent. I don't know what time you're planning to go home.
It's a Friday. It's a Friday, so I can answer all the questions that people have. No pressure.
Unapanga kupitia JS. And I was concerned kujua nani alifunza code 6 about JS. I met with them, all of them smiling.
Cindy J. Later on I'll just go.
Okay, cool. There's a question from Benta, and she's asking, how did you manage the interview stage? How did you manage the interview stage of this role? What are some of the questions that were asked during the interview? And my question is, how did you answer them? 2 questions to answer is, how have you ever worked with a team, and how did you work with them? How did you handle a difficult employee? These 2 questions that I wanted you to work. Have you ever worked with a team? How did you handle the difficult employee? And then answer the question from Bent.
Okay, let me answer your question first. So for the first question, have I ever worked with a team? So currently I'm working with the data engineering team at Stanbic, which is a very great team. We are very collaborative of each other, and we get various workloads from different business units where we get to like handle day-to-day reports, ad hoc work requests, also supporting and building data pipelines to support dashboards to the business side. or whichever business unit they are using. So yeah, I've worked with a team. I'm currently working with a team at Stanbic of great data engineers with a great lead who's very supportive and who really likes coming to your desk to ask you questions, to ask how you're doing. He likes answering a lot of questions, and yeah, it's a really good team. And about the you said, and I don't say a bad employee. It's not a bad employee. It's a disturbing. Let's say a disturbing employee. I've not encountered one. I think all the employees that you're working with in the technology space are really appreciative. They're really welcoming, especially as it is my first, let's say, second month there. They're really receptive of new employees. They take questions. They like to guide you. They like to talk to you. So I've not experienced or got to experience an employee who's disturbing or anything.
Text me. Okay, perfect. Good one. There is another question. Did you answer the Benta question?
No, or let me answer Benta's question. So, hi, how did you manage the interview stage of this role? What are some of the questions which you are asked during the interview, if you can remember? Yeah, I can remember the questions. So, how I managed the interview stage of the role, I think I took this interview in this room. So, looking the other way. So, I had 3 stages. The first one was an introductory interview where they'll get to know who you are. They'd like to know what you're all about, what tools do you use, but they don't go into a technical perspective of it. They just want to know who you are as a candidate, who are they hiring, basically. And they are asking you these questions based on the CV that you posted. So you could go through the CV that you posted for that job and get to know what questions, because they're going to ask you questions surrounding the CV that you posted. The second one was a technical interview where I got into a call with a data engineer, and I was asked questions on the tools like Airflow, how to build scalable and reliable data pipelines, how to monitor, how to go about failed pipelines, how to the difference between, I think just as talked about this, about an OLTP and an OLAP database. I won't go into the nitty-gritties of it because I'm tempted, but I won't. So OLTP and OLAP, and the difference between data lake and a data warehouse and a database, and the use cases of Airflow, how to manage or how to not allow or get alerts on failed pipelines. I think for people who've interacted with data engineering, is alerting and monitoring, and some questions on there was a question on data governance, and there was a question on machine learning. So those were the questions that I was asked, and how was I able to manage the interview stage of this role. So for the first one, I was told it was an introductory interview, but I wouldn't take it to chance. So I got to prepare. I think I prepared for it around 3 hours or 4 hours, going into what I had posted, going into the small details of what I've done, because for introductory interviews, they all ask you behavioral questions like, what will you do for this situation? How will you handle situation A or B? If you're given task A with manager A, if you're given task B with manager B, how will you handle these tasks, taking into consideration that they have a very tight deadline? How will you handle certain things on the workplace? So it's basically behavioral questions. How will you behave in a workspace? And this helps them to know who are they hiring. So for the second interview, it's a technical interview where you asked about these tools, how you're going to use them, how you're going to apply them into a larger scale. As I said earlier, use for projects that you do, you're going to use them from a small to a medium range of usage. You're not using it in huge systems, but in protected or production systems. Now you're going to be using it in scale, so you have to know best practices. And I used AI to also help me prepare and get notes and get to know what questions they ask in this stage of data engineering interview. And I handled it well. For the questions that if you didn't understand the question, just ask, and I think they'll pardon you the question that you didn't understand well. Just ask them that to explain it in a simpler manner. And yeah, I handled it well. And the third one was the hiring interview, which is basically how much you would want. And yeah, I think that for that one, I think you just have to prepare also, but not as much as the first two. So I hope I've answered your question better.
Sure, and thank you, Denzel. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you very much.
Better, just curious.
Yes, yes.
Ile position ingine uliingia ama iliendaje?
Ninangoja barua.
Unangoja letter. Good.
Ni venye
Congratulations.
huko.
Have you connected with Denzel?
Not yet, by the way. I think I can.
Denzel, kuna project mlikuwa mnaunda. Blooper. She's a software engineer. Very easy transition from what you do.
Okay.
Yeah, she can be a very easy and quick conversion. Yeah, if you're looking and you get those conversations, she was professional as a software engineer, waiting for confirmation letter for BI or data analyst. I'm not sure I remember, but it's something that you can talk to her. I will just share your contact, then you can talk later.
I know.
Good. There is a question from Emmanuel. Emmanuel is asking, where did you see the job posting? That's a good one. And where do you advise we search for jobs? And what project did you do? This is Emmanuel. Emmanuel, are you a student? I would like to know if you're a student because there are so many projects shared with you. But as he answers the question in the chat, you can go on and answer the question.
Okay, sure. So where did I see the job posting and where would you advise we search for jobs? So for the current position that I'm in, I got a message from someone who actually works there, and they were requiring a data engineer. They have a data engineer, they wanted to fill a position for data engineer for Stanbic. So we got in touch on Twitter or X. For people who identified with X, and he asked for my CV, and I shared my CV, and we had followed each other on GitHub before, and I didn't know him, so he reached out. He said he'd want my CV, so he took my CV, and after I think 2 or 3 weeks, I got a call from the manager and was asked to join an interview in a few days. So where do you advise we search for jobs? So I think there is a whole pool of places where you can search for jobs. There's LinkedIn. There's I know LinkedIn is quite cliche because a lot of people say go on LinkedIn, but having a LinkedIn profile is so advantageous because it puts you out to a world of professionals. Because a professional, a recruiter basically will look for you in LinkedIn. They'll search for your name, they'll go on the LinkedIn search and search for data engineer, and then have the first, let's say, 20 people out, the first 15 people on the search, and they'll get to reach out to you. So I think the first interview I did, I hope this is not out of topic, but the first interview I did, I got a message via LinkedIn through a recruiter, and I won't say which company, but I'll say I got a message, and they were like, hi, we are looking to fill this data engineering position at this company. Are you open to an introductory or an interview, basically? And we could schedule whenever you're free, and we could do so. And we got to an interview, and I let bygones be bygones. So yeah. So LinkedIn, there is Hiring Cafe. I think Hiring Cafe also does it, especially for like remote roles. And I think there is LinkedIn. For me, I think it's LinkedIn and Hiring Cafe. Those are the ones that I've seen that people give out good reviews on, and good reviews on online. So what projects did I do? Oh, I did quite a bunch. But I can state 5. Then I can share my GitHub or my blog post or my portfolio, and then you could like go and check out the rest. So the first one that I did was a fraud detection, and analysis into the system, where you could be able to like track for fraud in real-time transactions. So I used my knowledge in data pipelines and then introduced some knowledge of machine learning in predicting fraud. Also did a real-time data streaming pipeline from Binance through Binance WebSockets. Also did for Binance, but this is not real-time like the second one because streaming is real-time. So the third one was for basically analysis of stock and crypto data. And then the other one we did as a capstone project for inflation prices and food prices from 2006 till date. And also we did a small analysis and we did like a presentation on PowerPoint on how food prices and inflation in Kenya have positively or negatively impacted Kenya in some type of way using data. So those are the key projects that I did. And share my other links and then you could go through them, and I hope it helps you. Yeah. So I think I have a question from Shaq where yeah, I'll share the blog link. I'll share the blog link in the chat.
Break the conversation. Please answer all the questions in the chat, Cindy.
Oh yeah, sure. So
and then I will ask anyone with a question can drop in the chat or setting the number, then go on answering the question.
Okay. So Erasto is asking, in your team at Stanbic, do you guys work with machine learning engineers too? How do you interface with them? So in banks are really regulated. They don't expose customer or any type of data to any generative AI applications or machine learning as a whole, because this can get you in so much trouble. Because I think there's data protection laws and all that. So it's not advisable. So I've not worked personally with machine learning engineers at Stanbic. So because of regulations and all that, we don't use bank data with AI. So yeah. So Evans is asking, going back to civils. That's a nice question. It all depends. It's all in the journey. So Chuck is asking, have you had a scenario where a pipeline worked in local environment but failed in production? How did you handle that? There are a lot. They're not a lot, but they are quite a number. So how I handled it is first, even in investigative work, for people who are investigative officers, you go to the scene of the crime and read the logs. So you read the logs, you get to see where did the problem come from. So if the problem came from point A, let's say it came from a package that installed in local environment, but in production environment, that package is missing. It's going to show in the logs that package, let's say like Pandas was in Pandas 2.1 was downloaded in local environment, but in the production environment, use 1.6. So there's going to be like conflicting changes and the pipeline is going to fail. So you go to the logs and you go and check what the problem is. You sit down and you do a root cause analysis. The root cause analysis is you go down to the logs and you check what was the problem, what started the problem. It was a failing package. We use Pandas 1.6, but I was using Pandas 2.1 in local. So you get to fix and downgrade the packages as your code passes through to production. And after you do a root cause analysis, you fix the problem. And then now for you to, let's say for like now data pipelines, you now add measures for like alerting and monitoring. So you monitor through Grafana, through a dashboard, and then you put alerting mechanisms. So for Apache Airflow, there is a lot of like alerting mechanisms that are in place. There's a Slack mechanism. There's a Slack operator that gives you real-time data logs and data notifications on what pipelines are failed and what pipelines are up through Slack. There's an email operator. So you just put alerting mechanism so that next time doesn't get you flat foot. You are alerted in real time that, hey, pipeline A has failed and you need to work on it now. So yeah, that's how I handle it. I go back, I go to the logs, do a RCA, that's a root cause analysis, and tighten on the alerting and monitoring. So can you share the winning CV? Yeah, I can, but I think you have to reach out to me via my personal number. So what would you say was your biggest challenge in learning data engineering? So interacting with a new system and a new field, basically coming from civil engineering, passed through software, then coming to data. Data engineering and software engineering are quite similar because you have to understand systems. First of all, you need to get how systems work, how system A blends with system B. That is the principles of the software engineering, and that also applies in data engineering. So yeah, so my biggest challenge was adapting to the field now that I'm getting into data from software and from civil, and also learning learning individual tools that I had not touched before, like Airflow, getting to install Airflow in your environment and pushing it now to a production environment, learning PySpark, learning Kafka, also how to interact with various data systems, because for other data systems, you'll get them in so many you'll get them in so many formats. You could get this one in JSON, you could get this one in plain text, you'll get this one in XML. So learning and getting to interact with these systems from various data systems was also a challenge. So did you say you did software engineering before data engineering? Why are many guys branching off from SE to DE? So as someone said, that data is the new oil. Whoever has the most data has the oil. So data is everywhere. Data is here. Data is on your phone. Data is, people use ChatGPT is being trained on the messages you give it. That's data. So data is basically everywhere. And for software, people are migrating from software to data engineering because it's basically, I wouldn't say a carbon copy, but it borrows principles. And also the DE field is very lucrative, especially if you're branching off software engineering, because you have the skills to, you have a better understanding of how systems work. So you're branching off from SE and moving to DE, where you're moving away from software systems to data systems. So I think that is the reason why, and also data is very lucrative. There are very many job roles that are coming up where people want people who understand how data systems work, and there are people who understand how the systems work, and people are branching off to go and do those jobs. So it's a very lucrative field, and many people are getting to know that it is a lucrative field and are moving on to it. So did your backend engineering background play a crucial role in understanding data engineering? So yeah, for systems, it helps you in knowing how things work. CRT, not that you can't understand coming from other fields, you'll get to understand, because I know a lot of people who have branched off from civil, branched off from finance, and did software, and they have blended in so well. So it's just understanding how systems work, getting to know syntax of languages. You don't have to know everything, especially in Python. You don't have to know how decorators work, how this works. Just understand syntax, just understand how Python works, just understand how Python works under the hood. And I think that will be all. You'll be able to understand that when I run this code this way, it's going to run this way. If you're going to run it this way, it's going to run this way. Same for SQL. So it played a crucial role, yes, because I had an understanding of Python before, that is from the software engineering part, that is the backend engineering, writing APIs, using Python to write APIs, backend APIs, to now using Python for data engineering, that is for building pipelines and interacting with data. So what makes you a great data engineer? I'm not a great data engineer. I'm always learning, and learning is a process. So I think for what makes you a great data engineer is learning every day. Learn. Be 1% better every day. Learn from blogs, learn from documentation, because the people who wrote documentation for you need you to understand how it works. So for Airflow, if you go into the Airflow documentation, it is well stipulated all that you need to do. And if you follow the documentation from point A to point Z, you're going to get to where you want to. So read a lot of documentation. If you want to learn Airflow, go to documentation, go to YouTube, learn the nitty-gritties of how these things work. And that will make you a great data engineer, learning every day. So what should a data engineer focus on to be a great one? So first of all, you need to get a better understanding for Python. You need to understand Python really well. You need to know how to manipulate data using Python. You need to know how to work with Python. You also need to know how SQL, need to know how to write SQL, because I write a lot of SQL. That is something that I underestimated, and I got to see in the real world, in the field that I'm in right now, that I write Python for like 30% and SQL 70%. So understand SQL, understand beginner, intermediate principles of SQL, understand the syntax of SQL, understand the syntax of Python, beginner and intermediate concepts, understand basic data engineering tools, that is Airflow for workflow orchestration, Pandas and PySpark for transformation. So and Kafka, this is for like transformation. So understand basic data engineering tools, understand how they work, go through the documentation, learn how they do work, and also read blogs, read data engineering blogs, read the best practices of data engineering best practices. There's data ops, there is alerting and monitoring, there is the principle of is it the least principle, doing the least to achieve the most. And there's understanding the basic principles of data engineering, and also doing projects. You will have to do projects to understand how the field works. So if you have time during the weekend, let's say it's a Saturday, let's say it's a Friday evening, take a project. You could go on YouTube and take up a video on very good YouTubers, go end to end, and then try and replicate what they are doing, and you'll get a better understanding. Instead of like doing a copy paste as Control-C, Control-V, you'll get a better understanding of how this thing works and get to apply it into other projects as well. So I think that is all that a data engineer should focus on. And yeah, so best books for data engineering. The first book I read, Fundamentals of Data Engineering. That is a very good book. It gives you the most basic things you need to focus on data engineering, going on to the advanced. I don't know who the author is, but I think the publishing company is but O'Reilly. It's a book by O'Reilly. It's Fundamentals of Data Engineering by O'Reilly. Another book is Building Data Intensive Applications. That is by Justin Klepman, published by O'Reilly. Those are the two books I'd recommend for you to read. And yeah, you could get them online also. I think they are readily available. So what of cloud? Which cloud computing platform would you advise? So for where we work, we don't use cloud. It's a very regulated platform where people want to work with whatever works. They don't want to change anything. Whatever works. Don't change it. But for startups, a lot of startups work with Azure, because I think Microsoft has made it a 365 thing where you'll be able to like integrate Azure with Copilot, with a lot of things under the Microsoft umbrella. There's also AWS. Justin was here, he works there. It's a really great platform, and a lot of startups, a lot of companies have integrated AWS into their platform or into their system. So I think AWS is a really, really good place to start off. Oh yeah, Chris has shared the link to the book. It's by Joe Rice. Joe Rice also has a podcast on YouTube. You can also go and subscribe and listen to him. So yeah, you could do AWS, you could do Google, but the top three are Google, AWS, and Azure. From my experience, I think AWS and Azure are really, really well integrated into very many companies, and very many job descriptions look for people who have done either Google BigQuery, AWS Redshift, or Azure. What's the DW for Asia? But the data warehouse for Asia. So I think I could take one, look for advice on YouTube on which is the best, and then get to narrow down on what you would want. I hope I've answered your question, Emmanuel. So, Synapse, yeah, Moshe has answered it. So I see I see many guys getting into DS or DE coming from either comp science or IC backgrounds. How can guys from other backgrounds compete with them for jobs? Like you've said, the background offers a great foundation for understanding the data fields. So for the background really doesn't matter. It's what can you do? What skills do you have? You can have better skills than someone who did comp science. You could have better skills than someone who had an SE background and you're coming from a different background. It's all about what skills can you offer to us or to the company at the moment. And that's all that matters. And they get to see this via your CV, via the project that you do, via the blogs that you write. And it's basically the skills that talk rather than the background. If your skills are good, they're going to take you. The background doesn't really matter. So how can you compete for jobs? I think the skills matter. Skills of whatever skills you have. You can have better skills than someone who had a comp science background or a D or a SC background. I've seen people who have come from various backgrounds, from finance, from civil also, from electrical, from other fields that they did in uni, and they have very, very good skills in DE or DS, and they're doing really well because of the skills that they have. So it's the skills that really matter. So work on sharpening the skills that you have, and you'll be at a better position than someone who has the background but hasn't sharpened the skills. So yeah, share the names of the book. I think Chris Muni has shared the names via chat. So are there any other questions apart from the ones that I have in chat? You could like unmute and
Okay, I remember when there's this guy called Edwin Monique. He got his first offer. He was the first among the first people. I remember he was in his mid-30s and he came and was like, I think I'm hot. I don't think I can grab this. Then the guy pushed himself. Denzel I was telling someone seated next to me right now how hard you worked. Ni walimu mwenye ulikuwa unasema ukatumia laptop yake. Good. So I was telling her how hard we worked, and I was like, Edwin Monique got the offer. It was 200. It is coming from a never seen a paycheck. A man that looks like 80, 100, and he was like, I'm always on an scam. How did it feel when you saw your first paycheck on the offer letter? Like, was it something that you feel like, okay, I deserve this, man? I worked hard. How does it feel? And number two is what advice would you have to someone who was hiring you? Like, if you was to hire someone from this group, what would you look like?
Okay, so for the first offer that is, so I think I nilikuwa nimetoka hapa. I was from here and then I went home because I live around, and it came in at 4 p.m. for that p.m. and I was just in the room. I was like, oh damn, man, I was really happy. I left, took a walk, came back, and I felt like all the hard work has paid off. And all the hard work has paid off. All the hard work has paid off, and it felt really nice receiving my first offer. And I felt like the hard work had paid off really well. And for the second one is, if I was like talk to the hiring manager who would want to take someone from this call, how would I advise him to? I would advise you guys to like just work on the basics. Get really, really good at the basics. The basics are the core foundation. Let me bring a little bit of civil engineering here. I think Evans has asked me if I want to go back to civil. So I'll assume he's from that background. He's from a civil background. So if you're building a 30-floor apartment, if your foundations are not good, it will crumble in like 2 or 3 days. So I think the foundations really matter. Your foundation in Python, your foundation in SQL, your foundation in like the basic data engineering tools, you have to like sharpen it really, really well, and everything is going to like come into play really well. And you have to also put the work in. You have to put the work. The work has to like come in. It has to come in hand. You need to like get 1% better every day. You have to like do your projects. If you want to do it on a weekly basis, if you want to do it on a daily, if you want to do it on a bi-monthly, but the work is needed. The work is needed. So I'd tell you guys to like focus on the basics, because this is all that matters. So yeah.
Cool. Did you answer the question from Samuel? You have a
From?
question? It's your funding. Okay. Did you answer the question from Hangu?
Oh, let me. Oh, the other
Dennis.
questions on the chat.
Dennis
Yeah.
was one. There's someone had sent me a question. You don't mind if I read it for you? No.
No pressure, no pressure. No, I don't mind.
It was about the ownership.
Oh yeah, I can see it. It's from Dennis Gitao.
Yeah.
So, how is the ownership culture at Stanbic for the projects that you've worked on? So, okay, I'll put a little bit of a backstory and then So when I got there, the lead, we basically had a chat with the lead on the first day. We just sat down and it was like, I have gone through everything that you've done. Every line, every documentation you've written, every blog you've written, I've gone through it. So they actually go through these things before they get you there. So it's good for you to like document what you've done, because for lots of these guys don't have much of that time. So they'll just go to your documentation and look. So for the ownership culture, I think the ownership culture is, is it projects that I've done internally at the workplace or my personal projects? I would want to like get a clarification on that, Guitar, if you don't mind.
Projects at your workplace.
Or at the workplace. Oh, the ownership culture. I think because it's I've been there for 1.5 months. So I think the ownership culture is you're given this to do and questions will just come to you. So if the project is not done by a particular day or a particular time, you're the one who's answerable for it. So I think I hope I'm answering the question really well. So I think the ownership culture is we gave you project A. Are you working on project A? What is the percentage completion of project A? Have I answered it really well? Is there like?
Yes, you've actually answered my question.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think Emmanuel has another question on top of yours. So how wide is the gap between study and production? Oh, there is a gap. There's a gap. So study gives you, or study or development, I'll treat them as the same. They give you a touch of what a project should look like. It gives you, this is how it's going to go, this is how it's going to be. I'll give you an example of Airflow you're going to be using for people who are going to be doing the E in quote 8 or doing. There's a sequential. I don't go into like technical. So what I do instead of it's the gap is quite lengthy, but it's really bridged with learning about best principles. So when you learn best principles of data engineering projects in production, it's going to be really easy for you to make the gap smaller and make those projects cater for production. So by you getting basic concepts of data engineering and also getting to know best practices, data ops, data operations, alerting and monitoring, the principle of least usage, doing least to get more, don't overdo, just do the least thing that you can do to get a huge perspective. I think that's going to bridge the gap between study and production. So yeah, and also doing a lot of projects and moving them into a production environment. That's going to also bridge the gap between the two, because when you do a project and move it from your computer into a server somewhere, let's say you have an Azure server or an AWS instance, and you move it there, it's going to behave the way it's going to behave in production. So you're going to have like a touch on how production works. And when you get another project that's similar to that, you're going to have them hands-on on your fingertips. You're going to work on them because you have the knowledge of how it works. So Leslie, according to statistics, engineers are better software engineers as compared to computer scientists. Solving problems using first principles. Yeah, that is very true. You have to get, because for software engineering and for any engineering basically in the technology field, first principles matter. If you understand first principles, everything is going to be really easy for you. So solving problems using first principles is the best way to do it. As I've like answered Emmanuel's question on how to bridge the gap between study and production, is by getting to know best practices in that field. It's going to bridge the gap really easily. So is system design important for data engineering? That is for senior roles. I think for senior roles, system design is really important, because having a blunt system is going to really hurt the business in terms of costs and costs and performance. Performance is going to be really low. It's going to cost the company really a lot of money in terms of compute, and especially in terms of compute. So system design is important for people who are bridging into senior and lead roles. They need to have a really good system design knowledge. I think Harun can also focus on that. That is really, really important for senior and lead roles. But for junior, just understand the principles. And also when you work under junior, because you get to understand systems, how they work. I think when you bridge now to senior roles, it's going to be really easy because you know how the system works. So curious to hear if there's any applications in agriculture in Kenya from your perspective. Are there any alumni working in the agriculture field? Yeah, I think I know of one who bridged from agriculture, and I think it was from my university actually. And he's doing software engineering. He's using Node for backend. So I think his transition from the last chat we had was he's really doing well. He got his first job, I think, like 3 or 4 months ago. So I think transitioning from any field depends on the amount of work you're willing to put on, because you used to put a lot of work in. So I hope I've answered your question, Samuel. So Emmanuel has another question. What is first principle, please? My last question. Thank you. So first principles. So I don't want to go into the nitty-gritties. I might be tempted, but because of whatever of time, I'll go on top of some. So you can go and search about solid principles. Solid principles are principles that were set by the best engineers in the world before. And these principles are used in production environments. So solid principles are, there's a displacement principle, there's a Liskov principle. They're used in making code reusable, modular, and fit for production environment. So if you have time, you can go on Google and search for solid principles, and you'll get to know what first principles of engineering are. So what were your first 30 days at your job like? Did you deliver as expected? So the first 30 days were really delightful, because the first week is orientation, getting you to know the environment, getting to know your workmates, getting to know your colleagues, getting to know different teams, and getting to understand how the day-to-day data engineering day looks like at wherever I'm working at Stanbic. And I think now getting to be introduced to how work is, getting to handle pipelines, getting to know the architecture of how the data architecture there looks like, because different companies have different ways, have different data architecture. That is vile tu iko. The data architecture is not shared over various companies. They differ, but principles are the same. So getting to understand the data architecture, getting to know how they do things there, and how they do it effectively. So it was really nice. I got to learn a lot from my colleagues, people who have been there for some time. And did I deliver as expected? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So Mercy is asking, curious to hear how you apply DE in your day-to-day, and how can the same be applied in circles, since they both are financial institutions, just at different scales. So I applied data engineering concepts into making sure that the data analysts in the business side have data that they want in the format that they want it to. So building ETL pipelines from source systems to end users, that is data scientists and data analysts. And I think this also transforms into various companies and various industries across any workforce. So I think for circles, the scale is much smaller, because for banks, I think it has like billions and billions of rows. Circles has relatively millions of rows. So I think you're going to be using the same principles, and same principles apply, same tools apply. Just how you're going to be handling data will be very different. Although data integrity needs to be there, because you're handling customer data, and you'll be putting your institution at a very high risk if you expose it. So just basic concepts are going to apply, but just at a different scale. You're going to be using Airflow in production, these tools in production in a bank very, very, very differently by how you're going to be using it in the circles. But principles still apply, but how you apply it is slightly different. It won't change as much. So yeah, I think if there's any other question, I would want to like take it. If there is, could unmute or just add it on chat. Are there any other questions? Okay, Harun, I don't think there are any other questions.
I have 100 people who are not curious. Apart from 5 people who are asking questions, then where are we? Where are we, guys? Come on. Shaki, Mburu, you just paid your fee and you paid full. Utaki kujua venye fee yako itaimamsi.
Harun, I've asked questions.
You think you have asked all of them? Like, dude,
okay, none coming to mind right now.
Nothing coming to mind. Okay, I think when is the next quote after this one? The next quote will come after September, I think. September. We want to focus on this. We want to focus. You know how we did it last year? So we focus on like 4 quotes or 3. Then we help those 3 quotes to obtain jobs or get jobs. Then we post and make sure that majority of them got a job. Then we move to the next year. So those who joined the 4th and the 5th quote wanajua mpaka saa hiyo hawajai graduate. We move them to 2026. So it will happen the same thing. So yeah. That is the question to Chris. So yeah. My question, and I said I told code 6 this. Your money pays your running costs, actually. Those who have been at school knows this. Your money pays the learning costs. Paying the instructor, paying our time, paying our people who do these sessions, the job shadowing, paying people who talk to you in what are they called? Job shadowing and conferences. We'll have a conference at least every quarter, actually. Same place, Sarit Center, the same venue. So, dude, guys, like, make use of your money, but like, ask him all the questions that you might have. Like, ask him, do you think you did best than others? Like, what do you think you did others didn't do? How did you end up there? Like, what is the difference between Databricks and Spark? Who created Spark? Who created Databricks? How are they related? Those are the questions that you should be asking. Be curious. Bill Motors, unaona classmate wako anakuuliza, okay, good.
Oh yeah,
There is a question from Bill. I don't know if you answered it.
Oh yeah, I've seen it right now. So how did you crack the Python learning curve? So cracking the Python learning curve, the learning curve is really steep. That I have to understand because I think Python is the go-to language for data, and many people go to it as the first thing. So cracking the Python learning curve, as steep as it is practice. Just practice. Do small projects. We'll start with a calculator app, move on to Hangman, move on to bigger projects as you advance your Python skills. But I think doing practice at least for like 30 minutes every day is very, very sufficient, because you get to know what happens in ABC, and you don't get to be stuck in the tutorial hell, because I think a lot of us have been stuck in tutorial hell for a lot of time, and it's just moving away from tutorial hell and getting to work on very, very small projects, building a calculator app, building a grading app for students in the terminal, and yeah, I think just practice every day. Take your 30 minutes, take your 1 hour to perfect or to work on your Python skills, and it will come handy. It will come to your fingertips. You'll be writing it really well in a period of time, because a lot of people, some people take shorter time, some people take a longer time to understand, but also make sure that you're checking in every second, every minute, not every second, but take some time every day to practice Python, and it will make the learning curve much a little bit linear, and it will be really well. It will be better for you. So do you use platforms like Databricks or Snowflake in production? So where I work, we don't use Databricks or Snowflake. We use Oracle. So but I personally used Snowflake in a project. I'll share my GitHub and then you can go through. So I've used Snowflake in an ELT pipeline where I was able to like use Snowflake as a data warehouse for to store business-ready data. So I've used it in development and also pushed it to like a server somewhere to see how it performs in production. And yeah, I've used it. Snowflake is really, I've not interacted with Databricks yet, but I've interacted with Snowflake, and Snowflake is really nice. It makes the work easy, especially for people who are using ELT pipelines. That is, they're now loading it. They're now loading and then transforming it using tools like DBT. So yeah, I think I've worked with it, and it's really nice. You could go and look through the documentation and see how it works. They also have a page where you are moving from Snowflake in dev and then Snowflake in production. I think there's a page for that also. You could also go and interact with that page and get to learn from the documentation itself. I think that is better. So Alex is asking, when answering interview questions, should one explain too much or be brief? Just hit the metal where it's hot. Just use it up or katikati. Just answer it well. It doesn't matter if you answer it, but don't be too brief. Don't be too brief and don't explain too much. Just hit the sweet spot, which is just explain what's needed. If you ask what's the difference between a data lake and a data warehouse, say a data lake is for storing this, a data warehouse is for storing this, and this is the difference between the two. You would have answered that question so well, and that will be satisfactory for it. So yeah, just hit the sweet spot. So do you use DBT in your job? How much data modeling is needed to get a job? How to know you're actually good in data modeling? So DBT, I've used it in a personal project, but where I work at, we don't use ELT pipeline, so we don't use DBT. So for how much data modeling is needed to get a job, just enough. Just know the basics of data modeling. Just know the difference between a star schema and a Snowflake schema. I think I've heard just as saying about schemas and something about star and Snowflake. So know the difference between a Snowflake and a star schema. Know the difference between fact and dimension tables, and just know the basic of data modeling, and that is enough for getting your job, because by knowing the concepts, you can grow. It's like a funnel. You go from a narrow point and expand into a more diverse or a wide range of knowledge in terms of data modeling. So I think the basic concepts are enough for getting your job. And how to know you're actually good in data modeling? When you just do it practically. If you do it practically, not by word of mouth, or not doing it by doing ERDs, entity relationship diagrams, by doing the data models by themselves, you know that you're really good in data modeling. Hope I've answered your question, Mushai. So have you worked with Kestra or Bruin for workflow orchestration? I think these are new tools. I've not worked with them. So does getting enterprise certifications help in career progression or experience and projects in your portfolio is what makes the difference? So for enterprise certifications just certify that you know how the system works. So if you get a certification on AWS data engineer, it shows us, it gives credibility to the employer or to anyone who sees that certification, that Brian Muzama is proficient in using AWS for data engineering use cases. So for you to actually show that you're really proficient in it past a certification, you have to do projects in that field, and that's going to also cement that certificate by its own. So our experience and projects in your portfolio also go a really long way in making the difference. So if you have a certificate in AWS and you've done projects in that line, and your experience shows that you've also done what's needed in AWS, it also goes a long way in making the difference between you and other people. So I see in your LinkedIn, this is a question from Rasto. I see in your LinkedIn, there is a stint you did at Upwork. How did you score your first contract there? Are you still active? Still active, relative, because I haven't had so much time. I think I got a very small work for like data analysis, and I got to like work with Excel and also like model it and not model it, transform it using like pandas. It was a job that was combining extraction from a certain point I won't say where because it is client discretion. So getting from a certain point where I was getting it, transforming it into the requirements that I had been given, and then pushing it into an Excel sheet and transforming it there for a little bit, and then giving it to the client. So how did you score your first contract there? So yeah, I think I'll answer this one. So how did I score my first contract there? By having a very good cover letter, because I think the place that you go and actually apply for jobs, there is something in the line of writing cover letters. And there are people on Twitter, I think there's someone called Charles Chow or something of the sort who does give guidance in that line, who's really good with Upwork and has been getting really good gigs in Upwork. So I was reading his reviews and reading what he's done and the advice that he has. And yeah, I would refer you to him. Go on X and search for Charles Chow. He does a really great job at that, but I'm not active right now. So how do you balance upskilling in data and hustling to put food on the table, given that your hustle doesn't deal with data that much? Data. My hustle deals with data that much because I'm currently working in a data role. So, but balancing upskilling in data and hustling to put food on the table. So, when I was actually in school here, I was in an internship somewhere for civil engineering, and we used to get here. I used to get home around like 6:30, prepare, and get the evening off to like upskill in data. So classes from 7 to like around like 10, and then get an extra hour till 11 or 11:15 to just grow and iterate more through what I've learned. And then I think inshallah with that information that cements it for you. So I think balancing upskilling is a personal thing. I think you have how your day goes. I think you might leave work at 4, the people who leave work at 5, the people who leave work at 6, the people who basically get home at 8, at 9. So I think weekends are a really good deal to take out of. So you could like do a Friday night. Used to be here working on projects on Friday evenings. I think also the courts that are here right now actually working on projects on Fridays. On Saturdays, I think you can do like 2 or 3 hours before you go and watch Arsenal if you want to. And then Sunday you could do an hour or 2. So yeah, I think balancing is different for everyone, but I think putting some time aside for doing it is really important. So you could do like an hour or 2 or an hour during the weekdays and then 2 or 3 hours during the weekends. Yeah, it all depends on how you plan your day. I hope I've answered your question, Abdullahi. So Samuel asking, since data is the new oil, how do you implement data governance frameworks or principle in your place of work? Oh, this is a really good question. So for where we work, customer data is really important. It's the key. It is the diamond that needs to be shielded. So we actually do use data governance in terms of data lineage, who has interacted with the data at what time, at what time. So when a problem arises at, let's say, I interacted with it at point A, Abdullahi interacted with it at point B, Collins interacted with it at point C, Erasto at point D, Brad at point E, and then a problem lies in point F with Nancy. So there's going to be a lineage of who has interacted with this data, and you're going to there's an audit that's going to be done because they're going to do like a root cause analysis, and then going to be like at point E, Nancy messed up. So data governance is really important, and that's how we get to implement it through data lineage, getting to know who has interacted with what table at what time, who has interacted with this view at this time, who has interacted with this data at this time. And I hope I've answered your question, Sam. How can one manage their finances once they get a big job? So good question. That's a really good question. So I think this is a personal thing, basically. So it's a 50-30-20 rule. I think you could basically just alter those ratios as much as you would want. But I think a 50-30 rule principle of handling money is really important. Save 20, get your wants with a 30%, cater for your needs, rent, food, clothing, socks, with the 50%. So I think that's it. You could also use tools. I think the Excel tools I'm also looking into that field, and I'm looking to like do a small thing to like help myself also manage money, so I could also share the link once I get to work on it. So yeah, I'll send the link. I'll post. You guys can follow me on Twitter. I'll post the link there once done. So I've gone through your GitHub project, and the documentation is really good. Oh, okay. So thank you. So do you do it manually or with the help of AI? It's a double-edged sword. So you can't do a very good README documentation if you don't know what's going on. So you need to understand what you've done first. Write it down in a point format, in whichever format you want to, whichever format you prefer. Put it in writing, excuse me, and then you can ask AI to better it for you. So you write the documentation by yourself, talking about the architecture, talking about what the project entails, what are the requirements, how to install this project into your computer, how to basically work with this project once it's in your computer, how it works. If you've done endpoints or APIs, how will these endpoints behave? What codes are they bringing back? If you're handling data from different sources, if you're handling data in JSON or XML, how do you handle it once it comes to a machine? And then you better it with AI. So yeah, I think I used to do it manually using a README on my machine, and then I'd ask AI to better it for me. And I think I've answered the question, Dennis. And then Brian Muzama is asking, what monitoring and observability tools do you use? We use Grafana for monitoring pipelines and SQL procedures. Yeah, we use Grafana. And alerting, we use Airflow's mechanisms for email. I don't see another question on chat unless there's another question or someone wants to like put out via like unmuting or something.
Denzel,
Yeah, sure.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Utashow up ile event ya utakuwa Sarit Center ama utapatikana?
Nitaongea na Haru, hiyo tutaongea naye kando, alafu if time availability is there and there's also a slot for that, I'd love to show up. So yeah, I'll talk about it. Allah.
Umalizane tu saizi.
Tuongea saizi ili sikuwa ni mimi nilikuenda. So are you available? Transport and everything is
on Friday from 3 to 5.
You can it's from 10, but you can come anytime that you get time.
Okay, so I think nimesikia next week kuna holiday, I think Thursday or something. So if it's not a holiday, I'd show up at 10. But if it's a
next
work
week,
day,
hapana, si next week, ni the other week, dude.
Oh, the other week.
The other week ndio first Madaraka.
Oh, yeah.
Again.
Oh. So you know, so kama itakuwa Madaraka day, I'll be there.
Si Madaraka, sa ni 23rd. Do you go to work on Saturdays?
Saturdays, no, I don't go to work on Saturdays.
Then next week on Saturday, na si Madaraka. Madaraka iko 1 week after. So it will be available. That is
I'll
the
be
question.
available. I'll be available next Saturday. Yeah, okay. So some nitakuwa available.
So ni sato. Kuna wase pia nataka umit kina Kolesh. I really want you all guys to get into what it takes to be on the ZD platform. Why can't you be on the top 10? Still.
Yeah, sure.
Those are the questions that I want to know. Like, why can we guys have a place where we can work for 48 hours, 72 hours, but we can't be on top of the ZD platform? Still. Unadhani Kago imetengenezwa wazungu? Zi bana. Tuko na AI agent siku hizi. Unless tumebadilisha. Anyway, yeah, that question is answered. So amesema atakuja, so hold him accountable. I will give you his number if you text me and you tell me this guy said he'll come and didn't come, and I'm planning to get up for the transport to and from.
So I'll be there. So I think there's a question on chat by Angela. So you're so well spoken. Love how you're putting out your thoughts into words. Even the real technical stuff, do you read a lot? Relative. So I okay, reading is not something that I would say is a hobby, but I love reading technical stuff. If it's a blog, if it's a book, I love getting into depths of it. If it's a blog, it's a book. Yeah, let's say I love reading blogs and books a lot, and that is like technical books. But novels, those zingine slum. But these are the ones I'm really good at reading them. And also speaking to people. I love speaking to people. I love having conversations with people. People who we've met at Lux. I think I've had probably conversations like 100 people. So I love having conversations with people. You get to learn a lot from people because you get to get another perspective of that. You could get different perspectives from different people. So I love having conversations with people. I love reading technical stuff and technical books. And yeah, I hope I will transfer it into other documentations like novels. I hope. I hope I've answered your question, Angela.
Sharing.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, sure. Let me share my LinkedIn. So I think I'm the only one with that name. So on LinkedIn.
Itakuwa a long process kushare. Sinaweza share.
Yeah?
I have your LinkedIn page.
Oh yeah, sure. So my dev.to I have it. So
I will just share dev.to yako the right one. Dikinywa. Mbona, okay. Yeah, that's intended anywhere. You know that, right? Dev imeandikwa vibaya. Uone umeandika kitu vibaya.
Oh, nimeandika DB, lakini nime-correct tena. Kwa ya pili nime-correct. Kuna message ya pili nime-correct.
Ndio hii link. So in the link yake ya dev.to, the blogging site, then when you get to the, what is it called? When you get to his GitHub, ama page yake ya Vercel. You created a nice page on Vercel. So you guys can get him all his pages from this page. You don't have to worry. Mbona uko share hii kwanza?
Then your GitHub.
Vercel.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, that has everything. Yeah, so I think the Vercel app, that's my portfolio page. That has everything. Not recently updated, but I'll update it. I think I've gotten motivation too, so I'll update it in due time. So you could get everything from my portfolio page. That is denzelkinyo.vercel.app. So yeah, are there any other questions from chat or from like someone unmuting and like voicing out? I would want to assume there is not. Okay, sure. So I think I'll Harun, I don't think there are any other questions. Oh yeah, and also Chris will say thank you. Okay, so thank you to all you guys for interacting with you this evening. It's been a pleasure talking to you all and getting to know you guys. I've not known. Oh yeah, Charles Chow. Yeah, that one. I think it's Chow or some. I think it's that. Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, it has to be that one. So that's his name. So if you want to like go and check him out in terms of like Upwork recommendations, Upwork, how to apply for jobs on Upwork. That's where I got my information from. So he's the guy to go to. So yeah, so thank you guys for coming this evening. I think it's 10:53 and y'all are here. So I'm really glad that you've taken your time to listen to me this evening. And yeah, you guys have a great evening. Thank you. And I'll hand it over back to Harun.
Where do you learn? Like, give us the reference materials that you used to learn data engineering.
Oh yeah, sure. So I think in the chat, I think Chris posted the link to the 2 books that I read that helped me in understanding systems and understanding the basic principles of data engineering. That is the 2 books, the fundamentals of data engineering, which I got here. And both of them, I got it from here. The fundamentals of data engineering and building data intensive applications by Justin Clapman. They're both O'Reilly books. And also on YouTube, there has to be an Indian guy. So there's an Indian guy called Data something. I'll write his name on chat. I don't want to butcher it. That's his name. For Python, there's this guy. I'll just write it on chat. The first one's for data engineering. The second one is Corey Schaefer. And the third one is a podcast that I listen to. It is called the Data Engineering Podcast. And the first one that I'd recommend you to listen to is the one that they hosted the author to the fundamentals of data engineering. The author, the person who wrote that book, was hosted on that platform, or on that podcast, basically. So yeah, you could go and listen to that as the first listen. And then the second one was a podcast where they hosted Bill Inman, who's the father of data warehousing, where they had like an hour chat talking about his background in engineering. He's a really good engineer. He's the one who came up with certain approaches in data engineering. He's the father of data warehousing. So that will be the second listen, or the first, whichever you prefer. So there are a billion Charles Chows. So I think I don't have my Twitter here, so I think I follow him. So I think that has to be the name. He talks about he's a Node.js engineer. He's a backend engineer. Also does front end with React or something. So yeah. And cover to cover, or as project-based reference. Shaq, could you like expound more on your question?
You've referred to the two books, so I'm just wondering how do you approach the reading the books, since I bet there are a lot of reference material in data engineering. So how do you go about that?
Okay, so how I go about into the book is, okay, you're going to read it cover to cover, but you're going to take each piece of information as a continuation of the next piece of information. So you're not going to like read it as like schwa. Like you're going to like take the first 20 pages, understand what they're talking about, understand the concepts that are being applied in those 20 pages, go on to the next one, go on to the next one. Because I don't think unaweza maliza hizo vitabu in like one sitting, especially the fundamentals of data engineering is over for 60 pages. So just go chapter to chapter, go chapter to chapter, go chapter to chapter, and it's going to really help you understand principles. So project-based reference is also a point, because you could have a project in this sector, or you could have this certain project and you want to understand how streaming pipelines work. So you could go to the fundamentals of data engineering and go through the chapter where they're talking about streaming pipelines and how to build streaming pipelines and what goes beneath the streaming pipelines, how to handle it in a production environment. So you could also do it as a project-based reference. Both can work. I hope I've answered your question, Shah.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, sure. Are there any other questions or comments, notes?
Okay, anyone who thinks that he lied somewhere, who want to correct? I'm not correcting you. Maybe they want to correct you. I'm asking because I don't know of anything. So let's see. Anyone who thinks he lied somewhere, they want to correct him. I want you to think of, I'll tell you this. You built a platform. It was like a startup that sells data. But you don't know this, but if you share a screen, share that screen. Share either of the screens. Bora zikuwe na WhatsApp yangu msee.
Sasa siko sure ni gani nita share.
Share the screen yenye na WhatsApp. Nisa, they don't pop up. Nothing pop up. Let me log out actually.
Sawa.
But nothing to worry about. Wanafunza na WhatsApp ikiwa on. Just share a screen. Okay. Share screen, come on. Na ushare tab yangu. Share tab yangu yenye ni Aaron, not Rax.
Oh. So shida ya mitambo bwana.
Hujui kushare screen next?
Najua kushare kiasi tu ndo nakuja hapo kwa hiyo page. So hiyo window.
Kwani mna work na not window. There was screen, then share the other screen, then open just WhatsApp. It's okay. There is no WhatsApp open there. That I usually teach in my WhatsApp open. They know that. I'm the one even who wants them. Good. Now this screen has my profile. Good. Good. So open GitHub, then / yeah, just github.com. I think that wrap is wrong to my WhatsApp. Are you using my PC, Cindy? My
Yes,
personal
yes.
PC. Good. Enter. Click enter. Then go to repositories. I don't know if you know how to. So you click my profile, then repositories, then you search for Africa, and the repository search for Africa. I open source extract Africa data. I open source the same data that you created, but now all data that I extracted here, open the first repository. I know you don't know about this, but I open source data in your to scrap because the customer, the client was asking for alifunga biashara. I don't know if you know that. You don't know that, but alifunga biashara na kaishia. So I felt like I can open source the data because we have done the work. We have paid like 3/4, so the quarter is still remaining, and they don't owe us anything. We don't owe them anything. So tell us about the project you created and how they can integrate into money making the way you did. And for me, I would suggest the use Paystack. I don't know which you use, but just giving you a platform. Yeah, your thoughts.
Okay, so for this particular project that's here, this was, I think I've seen it. It's Africa Energy Portal. You are supposed to like extract energy data for the whole, for all 55 African countries and be able to put it in a database. So we did that project because you are extracting it from, that was like, it was a lot of work because you had to like extract it from PDFs. You had to extract it from web pages, which were heavy JavaScript renders, and you had to like extract it from those heavy JavaScript rendered pages and put it into a database via ETL pipeline. So I used a scraper called Playwright, which is basically a scraping agent that you configure, and then it goes in real time using a headless wrapper and scrapes data off that page. And then I got to transform it into the requirements or the requirements that were needed for that data. And then I loaded it into a Postgres database. And after that, I was like, someone might need this data commercially. They might need to integrate this data somewhere. And so I got to work on an API, which is available on, I hope it's up. I hope it's up. Harun, can I use your screen to like show it?
Why don't you think you can?
Personal laptops ni nini?
Kuna kitu iko hapa yenye inaweza nini? Everything that is in that wrapper, that is a business wrapper. And the only business that wrapper is lacks. The rest are separated concerns.
I hope I've used the right URL for this one.
Hata ukumbuke startup yako inatana wapi? You guys are very lazy. Niliambiwa about Janzi nikakataa kuamini. Yeah, it's this one I remember.
So I think we just go to.
No, it's not something actually. Maybe
I'll look for it in my GitHub repository. I think it's I don't remember it quite well, but najua ni either ni small letters or capitalized, either of the two. So there it is. So I got to work on the API and basically exposed this data via an API where other developers or any other business users might need to use it from. So yeah, this is it. So I got to expose it to Rapid API, which is an API provider that takes your API to the market for other developers or any other business users to use it, and then pay you a fee for it. So I exposed it via an API where you could be able to pay a certain amount to extract data for certain amount of requests. And I used Paystack to as my payment provider, so you'll be able to like pay via your card or M-Pesa, and it goes to my Paystack account, and I get to get that money. But Rapid API cuts some fee for it because they're hosting it on their platform. So yeah, here it is. I know it's this one. I have to like get the proper URL.
Ukienda hapo juu ni light, hakuna hiyo link.
I think niliyo. Nimejua ni gani. So
don't be in pressure to get the right one.
I think
just take your time.
Oh, it's not energy portal, it's energy data.
Usipe watoto wenyewe pressure wangu ke hapa. Tuna first aid. Open it. Siliku umenitumia? Umenitumia WhatsApp, sindio? Just checking.
I think
I wanted to give Ezra a chance to say hi. Just take your time. Just if you're patient.
So I know shit. Let me get it.
Angalia kwa chat yangu na
ndo naangalia
because umenitumia sasa, sijui kani namba ya data.
Nimepata. Mimi nilikuwa niweka vibaya.
And then I can tell you this, there is many opportunities. You can do it for WhatsApp. Kila mtu huuza vitu kwa WhatsApp, sindio? What if you build a platform that people can subscribe, then they can get a custom tiered WhatsApp bot? Unaona venye mnalipa nini? Ushuru. Sijui kama umetumia ushuru. So imagine if you create a platform that gives people the same thing for different platforms. Then you sell it during the conference. What do I mean? People can sell their product, people can negotiate and make sales. So instead of you being there, you're charging people 200 or 300 to make the conversation their whole month. So they're like, instead of hiring 4 people, I can hire 1 person who just ships the things for them. If I want things ziende Kericho, natuma msee mmoja ananipelekea kwa stage ya Kericho. Natuma msee mmoja ananipelekea kwa stage ya Meru. Those are things that you look at. And it is a very big open business. Tell me a business that doesn't use WhatsApp. Ingia sasa ujaribu kununua monitor. Achana monitor, ingia sasa ujaribu kununua nguo. Achana nguo, ingia ujaribu kununua lapi. Niambie ni nani atumie WhatsApp? Wanakwambia ingie WhatsApp, sindio? So what people feel it is the price, the allowable discount, and then they can ask people for conversation. You know, the first time I was using Shuru, I was seated with a KLA person sitting down, and I was like, okay, let me try because you said it can work. And I saw it work and I was very excited about it. Okay. So the same way with business people, they use WhatsApp. Everyone is using WhatsApp to make sales. We use WhatsApp to communicate with you, even if it's not the official communication channel. The first conversation that we make is on WhatsApp, then you go to email or any other channel. So if you build a business that provides people with custom tiered businesses or custom tiered bots for WhatsApp, then you become one of the king people that are making it in the next version. So achana kina WhatsApp, kina Safaricom are kina boomers and the millennials. We are coming as Gen Z. I'm not in your part. You are coming as Gen Z. So Maybe I'm not part of it. But yeah, I give you the get a business that settles people. You know, we traditionally used to go to Kiamburu or Kiambu Road, kununua gari, si ndio? I've give you a project where you can give people the margin that they save. Sijui kama mmefanya hiyo project, but it's out there. There is the project where you predict how much, not predict, you know how much customer care charges for specific cars. And you know the price from the platforms. And then you can use Airflow to refresh the prices once the car is not yet up against you. So what you do is you make sure that you can refresh the data and then people can see Kiambu Road 6.5 was 3.4, but Niki import na kuleta na 2.3. So why do I need to go to Kiambu Road kununua gari? I can wait for 4-5 months, ni import gari kutoka kwa hii platform ama ingine. Okay, sitaki kutaja platform seme na market ama wamenilipa anything. I'm not paid anything to ever market anything. You know that if you know me for the longest time, I have a job. Even Lux is not profitable business for me. So I'll tell you this, like you look for a business that solves people's problem, then you solve it. That is the only way you get to AWS. That is the only way you get to Stanbic. That is the only way you get to all those organizations that are open, because you're talking to people who are hiring you in this position and you're talking about a project and we can see clearly the project is solving a problem. Let me meet on Saturday to engage with it. I don't want to preempt you. Let's go on with the project.
Oh, so yeah, so this is basically the page. Let me share the URL. Let's see. So what I did is I got this database into a server, into an instance, and built a backend application which exposes this data via endpoints where you can be able to access this data. So this table shows the list. So this is provides reliable energy-related data across African countries for various sectors. So energy, electricity, social and economic, including electricity generation, installed capacity, renewable energy statistics, and more. Easily integrate real-time and historical energy data into your applications to power analytics, dashboards, and research tools. So these are the dashboards. If you want to get electricity-related data for a given country, you write this parameter, the parameter is country, which is Kenya, you'll be able to get an electricity-related data in JSON format, for energy, for economic, for health. These are the expected parameters. So it's basically, it gives you, the front page gives you a clear guideline on how to operate with the API, to be able to interact with it and be able to extract meaningful data that you need from it. So yeah, this was the project that I did, and I'm really happy that Harun used it for his personal use case. And if you want to use it for your personal use case, well and good, you're open to do it. You can subscribe to it. There are tiers there, so you can subscribe to it and use it for your projects. And yeah, I'd be happy that it has helped you. Could also, the code is open source, so the code is here. You could pull it and you do it on your own way. Try and make adjustments to it also. So yeah, so this is the project that I did. And yeah, this is how I was able to like commercialize the data that I was able to extract from a source that wasn't commercializing it, and able to put it available for people, because it's a lot of work for developers and business users to be able to go and scrape data from a heavy rendered JS website and bring it to whatever they want to use it to do. So I was able to like expose it via an API where dev can be able to get the endpoint, get the data in JSON, and use it freely for whatever you want. Yeah.
Good. We also have Caleb. Caleb amekuwa on the free 5 days class, and maybe you can just say hi. You're excited about a small thing. Hey guys, how you guys doing? I hope you guys are okay. Yeah. Harun is shocked. I'm excited about water. Simple things that make life. And I hope you guys are okay. I just say naitwa Kilemba, mjue mbona ako about Mkamba. I'll get on his notes at the right time. Okay, good. For now, he is part of our technical support. what he does is he sits and do it for your remedials. So if you are stuck somewhere and you want a class, or it's 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. you want a class, or 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. and you want a class, or you want someone to talk to, he is our guy for that. Yeah, Caleb is the guy for that. Or Kiremba Mkamba is the guy for us. Okay. As far as ameona maji akakunywa kidogo na kaoga. Good desert. That was a good demo. But I would give you the WhatsApp. Everyone, dima the mwenye ako ushago anauzanga vitu na WhatsApp. So if you can provide a bot that solves their problem, then you become a problem solver. I don't know if you find this, but good. Perfect. So Denzel, unaweza summarize? Naona ni 11:15. Kuna mtu hapa aliomba tumalize past 11. So I hope she is very happy. Thank you.
I'm glad I was able to like take this chance this evening, be able to talk to you guys. Also, it's been a learning experience also talking to you guys, answering your questions, getting to also talk about the journey, getting to like also talk about a lot of things basically with you guys, and also answer your questions. And I'm also open to if you have any questions. I think I've shared my LinkedIn. You can also send me a message on LinkedIn, and for any questions that you might have. And yeah, I've really appreciated how you are taking this time with you guys this evening to like talk to you guys. And yeah, all I can wish you guys is happy hacking, and have a great evening. Yeah, have a great evening and happy hacking. Thank you guys.
Tumesema nini? Kuna kitu umesema. Anyway.
Imetoka once.
Watadhani ni mimi wewe umekalia uko na PC ya relax alafu
nimesema happy hacking and as in happy hacking as in like doing projects and everything.
Okay, perfect. I got Steve today. I got Chris Olo. I was telling someone if they are below 20, this guy was doing data science before their age. He was writing Python code way before you were born. Okay. Yeah. Tunaongea na watoto 207. At least one you. Okay, good. You Caleb too. Anyway, just come meet the guy. He was at Sede. You can just go and check on him on LinkedIn. He's one of the keynote speakers. And I really hope you guys will enjoy it. I'm really hoping it will be the first for every reporter, and we'll use the same venue until we grow past what we have. Otherwise, all the best. Thank you, Denzel. I think Chris Olo. Just checking on LinkedIn. So umeacha nini huko kunisikiza ukakuja kunisikiza hapa? What's wrong with you guys? Anyway, guys, do you have a question for me or for Denzel? Do you have a question for me or for him? I hope you don't have a question, Studio.
Oh, there's a question from Shark.
Answer it.
Okay, so I hope you guys can hear me.
Yep, we can.
Oh, so Shark has asked, talking of business, how do you navigate project pricing, case the energy project? So for that, I was quite conflicted with pricing because I wasn't sure what users want and if what I want is what users want in terms of pricing, or if what users want is what I want in terms of pricing. So I got online and searched through various APIs on Rapid API and how they get to like price APIs on that sector, because there's a sector on energy and renewable energy data. So I got to like go through the APIs and get to know how they price these APIs, and that's how I came up with the pricing for that API. So in terms of like navigating project pricing, it's go and look at other projects in that niche and base your pricing on that, so that you don't underquote yourself and don't overquote yourself, which is not bad, overquoting.
Also, pricing, always use the Kenyan pricing. Okay. Yeah. I don't like when people charge the US rates for Kenyan developers. But anyway, you can do this. You can go open like collect API, then go to pricing page. You'll find what I mean. Open collect API. Naona uko kwa browser, fungua browser, fungua new tab. Wewe si mtu mwingine. Collect API, go to the pricing page. Ama enda kwa account. Sijui kama kuna pricing hivyo venye unataka kuisearch. Umeenda kwa pricing? Enda kwa subscriptions. Umeclick subscription. Enda kwa packages. They have their pricing. You can check their pricing. You don't access all pricing thing, or you don't access collecting page. Let me get collect API pricing. So what you get from collecting anything that you need in this world. Okay, yeah, they charge around 5,000 credits. Let me send you so that you can just look at it. Anyway, I don't get the link directly, so you can just check on your own. But otherwise, I think we are done here. Cindy, you can give your final remarks, then we can end the session. Cindy.
Yeah, sure. So
final remarks nisikie venye, yeah. And again, I will put this out there. It's not a marketing event, so don't market for me. To join ni sawa, anaweza kata by the always that honest. Mwenye hajalipa na anasikia hafai kulipa. We are good.
So yeah, so
2 minutes.
So thanks guys for taking your time this evening, and it being a Friday. I know it's a Friday, so I thank you guys for being here with me and with Justus and Harun for the job shadowing. I hope you've got to learn from each other and be able to know where to be able to apply, be able to also go the extra mile, doing the 1% better every day, and yeah, we'll be able to get better 1% better every day. So with that, I think I'd like to wish you guys a good evening and a good weekend ahead.
Hezra is in a nice place, but next week atapatikana weekend. So Sato pale Salit Center, tunapatana, namba ni ile. Just contact us if you want anything. Okay. There is a question. I don't want to miss. Thank you for the session. Informative session 079896. Sorry, I won't give my number. 496 44 82 32. That is the support number. Contact it in an item. I have the number. Caleb will have it later, but I wish you all the best. Sasa. Bye guys, have a good night. So I'm stopping the recording. I'll upload it to YouTube later. Oh man. Denzel, stop the recording. The 3 dots on your left, then manage recording, and then